Hello, thanks for listening to this track. I'm George Romero, and we're sitting around watching Knightriders with people that were involved in the production.
Yeah, John Amplis is here.
Tom Savini.
And a visitor to the set, Chris Stavrakis, also known as Chris the Greek.
And your brother is?
My brother is Tasso, who plays Sir Ewan. It's Ewan, you know.
Ewan.
I always thought it was Ewan.
Ewan the
It's
Invincible.
a big, you're the Invincible. You guys, I guess Tasso and, I met Tasso through you.
Dawn of the Dead.
But through you or through?
Yeah, he came to the set.
He came to the set.
Yeah, shoot me in the eyeball and drag me to behind this car. Sure, go ahead, you do that.
I remember I got so pissed off at you and he one day on this show.
I'm going to talk about that. Because I was bleeding and you didn't like it. How dare you bleed? I need you in the next scene. You can't bleed.
I'd like to right away mention Donald's wonderful score.
Yeah, it's a beautiful score. Donald Rubinstein, my partner at the time, Richard Rubinstein. Donald is Richard's brother.
That was a naked Ed Harris?
I just did a third score with Donald. And Amy Ingersoll. And all these costumes. I will never forget. Remember the first time when Ed came into town, he had agreed to do it. I still have photos on the wall of you and Ed.
At Carnegie Mellon.
Yeah, trying on.
Looking at the bikes.
Looking at the bikes and trying on your costumes.
I have this bike.
You have this bike?
I own that. I bought this bike when the movie was over from David Vogel.
Wow. Is that right?
And it was in front of your house for many years.
Who wound up with your bike? Didn't you buy your?
No, I don't know where that bike went.
Didn't Ed buy a bike? I don't remember.
They gave those bikes away almost when the film was over. There were 30 bikes. They just, here, $1,000 here.
Pretty smashed up, weren't they?
This one wasn't. This one.
No, these weren't. These weren't the bikes that they use in the show.
Yeah. Only thing wrong with this bike was it idled for so long on the set between takes that the pipes got scorched. That's the only thing wrong with this bike. I still have it. I still ride this bike.
Wow. This is all
pre-Renaissance Fair, Renaissance Fair.
And there is Donald Rubinstein.
There's John.
There's John Amplis.
Did you know how to juggle before this, or did you learn for the?
No, I could a little bit. Yeah.
All this stuff here is now part of Renaissance fairs anywhere you go.
The first Renaissance Fair started around 1969.
Before this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they were definitely around. And there was a group called the Society for Creative Anachronism.
Right.
And which is actually where I got the idea for this. And this was, gosh, in the way ago. And United Artists Film Company had distributed Dawn of the Dead, and then they wound up financing Creepshow, Knightriders, and Day of the Dead. And
that's for swinging side off.
We thought this was a really swinging idea about jousting on motorcycles and all that. And of course, I think in the end, 9 people saw this movie at first. Now it's so great to have video releases of these things, so that they have a terrific shelf life.
And this brand new one that's now going to be possible.
Yeah. But this is another movie that has both Martin and this film, I think, are are dearest to my heart.
I've noticed this one is certainly a very personal story about fighting the dragon of commercialism.
Fighting the dragon.
Wasn't this called, it was called Knights. Boom.
And initially it was called Knights. And then Mike Gornick, who shot this film, and several others. And there's Scotty Reiniger back there from
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead.
We don't need to make it any rougher.
And
All right. We won't use it.
yeah, it was Mike Gornick's idea to call it Knightriders.
But wasn't there a conflict between Excalibur and, wasn't Excalibur going to be called Knights, and then they changed it to Excalibur?
I remember that, yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember that Sala, there was a show called Knight Rider, a TV show about the guy with the, with the fancy car. I think Sala actually made some money off that. They paid him to lay off of them because he had the first registration.
I think maybe we should go get a seat, okay?
Oh, Helen,
Jim Baffico.
Daddy. Another seat.
Another Dawn of the Dead alumnus.
Yeah.
Patty Tallman of Babylon 5 fame.
That's not her yet.
Yeah, she was right there.
She was
Oh,
there.
she walked past her? Oh,
She's
that's
their
right.
daughter. Yeah.
Your secondary corn, that's your third.
Molly,
Miss Molly.
Molly McCluskey.
Molly
Miss
McCluskey,
Molly.
right?
There's Patty, you're right. There's Tim DeLeo from Day of the Dead.
A slob.
Iva Jean, that plays the mother.
Saraceni.
Saraceni.
Right.
Iva Jean Saraceni. You know that her daughter was on the Lockerbie plane? that
Yeah.
went there?
Oh my
Yeah. Quite a loss for her.
Yeah.
There's Warner Shook.
Pulitzer Prize winning Warner Shook.
And my wife Christine.
That motorcycle.
That was Tasso right behind there.
Hey, Morgan Le Fay.
That motorcycle, George. When Mike Gornick and I went to look at motorcycles to choose which bike would be mine.
Yeah.
I tried a mount in the showroom of the motorcycle place, and my foot went right through the windshield and shattered it on the showroom floor. We had to pay for it. Right there.
You're kidding.
No, I tore off that windshield with my foot trying some kind of fancy mount from Oregon, and never tried that again.
Oh, you were trying to get out, do a Roy Rogers or something.
On the motorcycle. And, my foot went right through that windshield.
You guys remember that during the first, I don't know what, we shot this movie. It took us, 90 days or something like this?
It was all summer long.
all summer long.
Greatest summer ever.
And except that we had, out of 90 days or 92 days, we had 80 of rain.
Wasn't there a tornado or something that whipped up the set right away before shooting
Right away,
again?
second day.
Wow.
And we wound up having to do a lot of the little campfire scenes.
Indoors, yeah.
Indoors in a warehouse, cutting down trees and bringing them in.
In New Kensington.
Yeah. And then that flooded. The warehouse flooded. Remember that?
Where was this? Katanning or?
The
Yeah.
outdoor life lodge.
Yeah, not as far as Katanning.
No.
I mean,
That's what Dave
It
Bury
was
just found
near
this place.
Tarentum, yeah.
Yeah, near Tarentum.
Tarentum.
And gosh, remember this was actually a gun club, and this was the property that we were using, and there were all the good old boys that were members of this club. And
What you guys doing out there?
Yeah, right.
Well, we
And
just
then
went
getting
out
all over we had
Jeannie Jeffries.
Jeannie Jeffries was
my.
the object of desire.
You'll see her later on in this film. She was also the makeup woman.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
But Ken and Leslie Chapman and a lot of the African Americans on the shoot were not welcome at this place.
Never seen it before. Guess the sheriff must have signed it. I don't see how we can let this go on.
Mike Moran,
No medical facilities, no doctor. He's a doctor.
Brother Blue.
Brother Blue.
How did you find Brother Blue? He's
Well,
a
you know,
fascinating guy.
he used to he is a storyteller.
Storyteller, yeah.
And he actually teaches at Harvard.
Wow.
And he still is a street entertainer in the Boston area. And he travels all over the world telling stories. And he's transferred all of Shakespeare
go find the
plays into street jive,
Oh boy.
And he does them, and kids actually learn the stories.
Oh, he was such fun.
He's a gas. I still get postcards from him every few weeks.
Wow.
And he and his wife is a wonderful scholar as well. And he looks like that. He wears those robes. He's got the bongo drums and all that stuff. This robe was made was made as part of for the movie, but.
The butterflies were for the movie too, right? Does he have?
Yeah, no, he used to do butterflies.
He paint those on himself?
Yeah.
Wow.
He used to, and he still does. Every time I get a card from him, he's got butterflies on it. Kapuzi, kapuza. Kapow. Magic and music. He's really a poet, in many ways. But a wonderful, interesting guy. Anyway, he used to do a kid show, or he used to appear on a children's show on CBS, and he would tell a little story. So I knew him from that. But then Donald Rubenstein, when we would start to talk about the score, and we couldn't find anybody for Merlin.
Hadn't you auditioned a couple of?
Yeah, we auditioned several people,
Same old thing,
including Morgan Freeman, who we didn't get.
Wow.
And but then Donald said, there's this guy, Brother Blue, and I remembered him from the kids show that my daughter used to watch. And so he and Ruth came into town, and we went to dinner, and he was saying,
Mom.
Kapazee, kapazaa.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
It's wrong to pay this guy off. It's wrong, Morgan!
But actually, there were several conflicts. I mean, this did come out at the same time that Excalibur came out, and I still have the Newsweek that preferred this to.
Yeah.
I have that one too. Reagan on the cover.
Yeah.
Come on, let's start.
And of course, Ed has gone on to.
You even know that Reagan was on the cover?
It was, there were very few articles about Knightriders at the time. My mom said, "Look, this is a movie Tasso was in."
Chris has an encyclopedic mind.
So, noted Romero historian.
Oops. Yeah,
Simon.
he's the guy that got us the bikes, right? Wasn't he the dealer?
Not
Simon Manson.
I
Mances.
seem to remember that he was there, yeah, in the showroom.
And he's the one that made you pay for that thing, so.
Yeah, somebody did. $80 for that windshield.
Wrote down the magical tales of Arthur, the Rowdy One. He called it the one,
Sweet Sal.
once, honor, and nobility.
Sweet Sal is a character around Braddock, PA.
May also reign.
Tony Buba made a documentary about him. And Ken Faree, we haven't mentioned, also from Dawn of the Dead. There goes John.
Yeah, doing whatever
A good night
that is.
Such great movement, though, John.
Yeah.
And then Stephen King and his wife.
There he is.
Don't I wish? Give me a beat.
We had just started to work on. There's the Buba's
Tony
mom and
Buba?
dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Bomba's
There's Nancy Chesney.
Bomba's dad was standing there too.
Yeah.
There's
Hal
Jones
Jones.
from the Crazies.
You got a solid head? Yeah.
Yeah, it's made out of metal.
Alan thinks it's too heavy.
This is great. But this stuff, I mean, it really came to life. I mean, Cletus did a great job on this stuff. It's
beautiful.
All you guys did.
You know, I have that mace.
You have that mace?
I have that mace.
And you and I each have the thrones.
Thrones?
One of you. We each have one of the thrones.
I always loved that.
Remember, he had never ridden a bike before, right? But all he did was some of the simple shots. But then he wanted to do the road shots, remember? But then, in the end, we also had rigs that we pulled on flatbed trucks.
He told me that he got that bike on some scene up to like 105 miles an hour. Didn't know it.
Well, it must have been the highway scenes at the
Yeah.
end. Because by then he was getting comfortable with it and he wanted to do those scenes.
Well, that's a smooth bike. You don't know when how fast you're going on that thing.
Something wrong?
Well,
Is that the one you're standing on in the picture?
And now, the noble knights of
Tom has photographs of riding that bike down the street, standing on one foot.
Well, I rode that bike to the set of Creepshow, and my helmet was blowing off, and I got down low to get out of the wind, looked at the speedometer, and it said 106.
Wow.
That's how, it just picked up.
These were
Scary.
these stunt guys from Stunts Unlimited.
Gary Davis.
Yeah, who
And,
coordinated it.
and one of these guys,
Eddie Heiss?
Rondell, was a stunt coordinator on Dusk Till Dawn.
Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Which, of course, you were in.
Yeah, and Freddie
did effects
Heiss.
on.
Freddie Heiss was also on the stunt crew of Dusk Till Dawn.
Is that
In
right?
the bar scene, yeah.
Wow.
I was working on Sudden Death, the Jean-Claude Van Damme film, which shot here in Pittsburgh, and Gary Himes, who worked on this also, was a stunt coordinator for that. Gary Davis was there, and Tassa came to visit, and they all remember, hey, Tassa.
feel an opponent worthy.
Those guys are still, I guess, a big stunt family.
I did a film in Hong Kong and had them bring Gary Davis over for motorcycle stunts.
Is that right?
In the movie that they were doing right after I left.
And that's John Harrison, this Pellinor, with the squared off helmet, who is now writing and directing in Hollywood, and he did the score for Day of the Dead and for Creepshow.
These guys had ejector seats on those bikes. Remember the spring-loaded seats that would shoot them off the bike?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like air rams. The seats were air rams that would knock guys off.
Wow.
Stunt guys off.
So that they would have more momentum. 'Cause
Yeah,
the,
they would
the
fly in the air.
lances
Stephen
would
King.
just foam. Steve, the Lances were breakaway, so there was really no impact. And so the seat would just pop up and it had to be synchronized. The guy would
Eject these guys.
Yeah. That's what happened if you didn't use it. But they had to outfit all the bikes with these things, which was amazing. And I remember I remember for weeks we were trying to figure out what kind of surface we should use. And we wound up, this is limestone that we had to truck in and spread around.
There's actually a shot of it later, spreading the limestone, isn't there? They moved to a new location. You see the truck dumping the limestone.
There's the seat. That was the seat that shot him off.
Yeah, I don't know if you can slow this up.
Oh, the fans, are you kidding? They still see the trampoline in Dawn of the Dead that I hit when the truck hits me.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's there for a microsecond. They know
they
it's
see
there,
it.
yeah. They slow these things down.
Well,
Especially on DVD, you can hit it and
stop
crystal
it.
clear.
Get a good clear frame.
Yeah.
Guy looks like Roman Polanski, that
The infamous black
hiding out in Pittsburgh. Right?
Do you remember at your office at Fort Pitt Boulevard, we watched El Cid,
Yeah.
Black Shield of Falworth for the jousting scenes?
Yeah, yeah. Look out. Ooh. Oh.
Freddie Heiss, who doubled me, actually let me do that fall myself.
Is that right?
Yep.
or call for another pass. Now, in the case
I didn't get pissed about that.
No, you didn't get pissed about that one. Not that one.
Must have been
You're
second,
bleeding.
second unit.
Why are you bleeding? You can't bleed.
Okay, we'll choose mounted or hacks gate.
It's a continuity thing.
Hacks.
You can't have a hole in your head.
This was again the never-ending. Remember, we all stayed, even though it was right. It was too far north to make the commute every day. Remember, so we all stayed at this Holiday Inn up
You
there,
guys took the Holiday Inn over. I remember being
Oh, we
there.
owned it. We owned it.
which was probably not a good idea.
Oh, I remember when I came to visit, you guys had toys of every description because it was right
Ray
after
guns.
Tasso's birthday.
Yes. We had a surprise party for Tasso and gave him the Space Invaders video game. I mean, that was a big deal back then.
Well, I got handed down all that stuff, so I was very grateful for it.
Yeah. I remember there's some pool parties.
Oh my God! Remember Bomba?
Peter Levy,
Peter Levy.
the transportation guy. Oh,
I remember him. Yeah, but
Oh, yeah. I do. I remember.
did he do something weird at the pool party or something?
But didn't he get thrown in the pool?
Oh, everybody got thrown in the pool. Did you remember Bomba would do this flying zucchini brother escape from the garbage bag? We'd wrap him in the garbage bag, throw him in the pool. He would escape from the garbage bag.
I remember
Is that
skinny
right?
dipping actually one night.
Oh, we would 4th of July. We threw firecrackers at everybody in the
You
pool.
threw a stick of dynamite at Tasso
That's
one day,
right.
did you?
Well, half a stick of dynamite.
Okay.
Of course, we had the production coordinator's husband was a doctor who had to come out and sort of fumigate the place. I think that's. I mean, how many relationships developed
And ended.
and ended?
Well, Tasso's
On
ended
this
here
shoot?
with Patty.
That's right. Your brother and
Patty?
Patty Tallman.
Patty Tallman.
This is the beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end.
Sorry, Tasso.
And I think Ed was involved with Donna. I forget who was involved with who.
Actually, an interesting story is that after Knightriders, Tasso and Patty were trying to patch things up, and Steve Miner called Tom's house for Friday the 13th Part 2. And you were doing the burning, I think, and turned it down. And then he said, let me talk to Tasso. And they offered the part of Jason to Tasso. And Tasso said, well, I'm going to Ireland with my girlfriend. We're going to work something out.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to pass on it. That's history.
Uh-oh.
Tasso could have been Jason.
And it didn't work out.
He could have been in 9 movies.
But now
Yeah.
Tasso is actually on the real jousting
Yes.
circuit.
As Sir Ewan. Ewan of
Yes, Sir
Essex.
Ewan. And the wardrobe designers for this did his wardrobe and for him and his horse.
This armor, by the way, is leather.
Yeah.
At least mine was. Some of
Yeah.
these guys are wearing like tin can lids all over their leather, but
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't go. I mean, Cletus went sort of classical.
okay. Look at this. Look at the thrones. They are almost
It's that one little
identical.
flare on the left.
Oh, we can't tell.
I could tell you.
Yeah, trying to. We'd have to freeze it.
Run and look at it. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Shoulder. You're still not
Okay, John Amplis had to leave. He's directing a play. And my wife Christine is now here.
Hi.
Hello.
And remember these side hacks?
The hacks.
The hacks.
The king, ladies and gentlemen.
And we were just talking, Amy there and Warner Shook, Pippin, were college mates of Chris's.
And I just saw Warner a couple months ago, and he was the artistic director of the Intiman Theater in Seattle. And he's getting ready to go to New York to do a show, original project with Lynn Redgrave.
Wow.
Oh, here comes Tom.
He's got a Pulitzer Prize for Kentucky Cycle.
Kentucky Cycle, that's what it was.
Tom,
Dun 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 dun.
lusting for the throne.
George,
See, there's where you can see that they're, I mean,
I gotta tell you, I'm
you
sure.
said the armor, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, please go ahead.
Well, you were talking about the armor being leather. The helmets shouldn't have been, but you can see they are
The visor kind of bends a little bit
bends,
there.
yeah.
Well, they had to fit over real motorcycle helmets. We all had motorcycle helmets on under those helmets.
Right, which is why the helmets look so big.
I have the helmet. I have all my armor.
Wow.
Still, it's in a case in the attic.
You have some of the futuristic armor, too.
I have a futuristic helmet.
What about those shields? They would have been great souvenirs.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the shields. Now this was, we were doing all those shots on like a turntable, remember?
Oh, I just heard about Gary Lottie recently from Donald Rubenstein.
And because we were just talking about him, we
He
love.
lives outside of New York, and I think he's been in real estate and done really well,
Yeah.
and is hoping to actually get, be able to retire and return to his love of.
I've always wondered, there's no
theater.
relation to Christine Lottie, is there?
No.
No, okay.
And Patty, I haven't heard about her in a while.
Patty, I just saw her last year at the comic convention here in Pittsburgh. She's been on Babylon 5, and of course she was.
Oh, she just got married. She married Jeffrey Willerth, the producer of Babylon 5.
Oh, really?
great.
Yeah.
She was doing stunts for a while, right?
Oh yeah, she did stunts for.
She doubled Laura
Didn't
Dern in
she do
Jurassic Park.
Red Sonja at Universal.
Oh yeah, a long time ago. But since then, she was. What'd you just say? That.
She doubled Laura Dern in Jurassic Park.
Right. Exactly.
Is that right?
And she also doubled Dr. Crusher on Star Trek: The Next Generation. In the movie and on the television series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She did a stunt for Your Tales from the Dark Side, didn't she?
Yep.
Yeah, she did a stunt in Monkey Shines. The one that
What stunt? Monkey Shine.
near the end where the girl falls and gets knocked out.
Oh, inside the house, inside the house set.
Yeah.
Well, George, I got to tell you, I mean, this was probably because of the rain and the problems of that any director has. It might have been a heartache for you at some points, but for us, thank you for the greatest summer possible for a human being like us to ride bikes and play with swords and be in the sun,
Do all that
wear
stuff.
armor. I mean, for me and Tasso, this was the greatest summer imaginable.
Well, I'll give you my side of it. I can remember trying to tiptoe into that motel at night, hoping that people would not come in the hall because George would be so tired and he had so much to think about. And we would literally quietly go down the hall, and all of a sudden the doors would open, and everybody would have comments about.
Well, the hallways
what do
were a
they
party.
need, what the-
One thing or the other.
The part now that Freddie Heist did that stunt for me, and he got hurt.
He got
Did he
hurt.
break his collarbone or
No,
something?
his thigh bones
right.
got bruised
He
by
hit the
hitting the
handlebars.
handlebars. So
Yeah.
every time they did this stunt afterwards, and they do it many times, they would saw the handlebars almost all the way through, so the legs would just break them off if
That's
they
Stephen
hit them.
Tabby there.
Yeah,
Steve King, yeah.
and that's.
Oh, there's
And
Barry
Barry got
back
him in
there,
an
yeah.
Adamus.
Wow.
And her name on the right is Kirkpatrick. She's an artist. She keeps
Yes,
sending these wonderful paintings from Knightriders.
Right.
She did a beautiful painting for us.
John
Yeah.
Amplis.
And did you do the blood effects for this?
I had a separate contract to do the gore effects. There weren't many of them.
That was
There
like
the
this
stitches
and the-
on Ed and the blood coming out of his armor when he hit the ground.
That's a very effective shot, running down the.
You know, this movie, when you look at it, it really holds up. It's a beautiful movie.
Oh, it really is.
It's just funny that it didn't click. You know?
Could be better.
It clicked with a lot of people, though.
Well, it is.
You know, it's very hard to find this movie.
Well, it's a cult. It's a
won't
cult
be
thing.
anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody's fault, man.
You know what you're doing?
Thanks to these guys, it's
Yeah.
going to be out there.
Why don't you all get out of here?
Brother Blue.
Brother Blue. And
Back to my adventures at night. You know that Brother Blue would put a poem under our door every night.
on an
single
audio tape.
night.
I
Yep.
still have found some of those tapes. He and Donald Rubenstein would get together with some bongos and a little bit of guitar or piano, and they would do this little sort of
And what it's
ode.
is having
Ode to Knightriders?
Ode to, you know,
Oh, to the day. Whatever
day.
special things happen.
Didn't somebody, one of the grips or somebody was befriended by a butterfly or a moth would follow him around or
the
something?
Rev, Richard Ritchie.
Oh, it was Richard.
Oh, but
okay.
of course.
Moon
That
moth.
guy had a halo as well. You know, that followed him around.
There was the moon moth.
The moon moth.
One of those big things, and it would sit on him, and it sat on him for days. And it would, no one. It's when we figured he really did have some sort of mystical powers. He was-
I wouldn't be surprised if he was a guru somewhere in the Himalayas. Somewhere.
Yeah. No, he's still working as a grip and electric. He's living in New Mexico,
Wow.
somewhere near the convergence of the
Near Sedona.
Sedona lines. Yes.
God, wait till I tell my girlfriends about
Who's that guy? Who's that knight that just walked up there?
That's Hal Jones. He was in the
That's right.
Crazies.
Yeah, that's right. Randy Kovitz. We still hear from Randy
Yeah.
about once a year.
Leaving Sir Hector.
He's in L.A. He does a lot of
Fights.
he choreographs fights, but he also does this one-man shows that I guess that are very unique things. You know.
Sir Hector of Newark defeating Dame Rock.
What's her name? Her.
Cynthia Adler.
Cynthia Adler.
You know, she's a big deal voiceover person in New York,
she
one of the
did the-
most successful ones.
She did the voiceover, the complete narration on Fantastic Planet, that animated feature.
French,
really?
French cartoon, right.
Yeah.
There's David Early, another popular local actor.
Is David
Yeah.
still in Pittsburgh? Do you know?
As far as I know, I saw him probably about a year and a half ago on some set.
Remember the Owl Man, the Bird Man?
He was in Silence of the Lambs, David Early
Yeah.
as well. Well, so were you, George.
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah.
But with me, it's like Find Waldo. You get there for
Also, they mentioned you on the commentary track for Silence.
Is that right?
George Romero, yeah.
You're bound to have some.
Yeah,
Billy. Come on, man. Look.
Jonathan Demme mentioned it.
Remember the Birdman here? Brought this owl around and the other birds.
Gallbladder.
I remember we made this feather. We wanted for the black raven. We wanted
At the beginning of the movie.
at the beginning of the movie, and also for later when the guy is
With us old got destiny.
when the Indian shows up, when the black bird shows up.
They just got a few minutes.
We wanted just montage footage, fluttery footage of like what looked like black feathers fluttering. We couldn't figure out how to do it.
We had Lenny
So
Leeson.
we put Lenny Leeson in some kind of a feather thing,
Peter Lorre and the Raven.
right? And we were trying to run around fast enough, so that we would just get a little, we just
glimpse.
wanted little 3-frame glimpses.
It was terrible.
We couldn't even lift 3 frames that didn't look like, some.
But didn't Barbara make like a Raven suit, like with a
Yeah.
mask and everything?
Yeah.
There's no stills of that
No,
anymore.
it is.
No,
The
there
mask,
aren't any.
the mask is in there later on. There's a quick shot of it.
Oh, yeah?
When,
Yeah.
When,
See, he knows that stuff.
Yeah, when we needed the bird in the final shots of the motorcycles riding on the highway, we were able to use the mask by putting it on a fence post. And
I wonder whatever happened to Lenny Lee's.
The last time I saw Lenny was on a movie called Backstreet Justice about 6-7 years ago.
Chris McIntyre.
Chris McIntyre movie.
Was he
right.
still in Pittsburgh?
Then he was. I hope he is now. I've been meaning to interview him for my site, but he didn't know that in France on the Dawn of the Dead poster, Lenny Lees was the guy that played the machete in the head guy, of course.
yeah, right.
He's on a huge poster, and I said he didn't know about this at all. I said you're like an icon.
That photo went everywhere. I
It's
guess
all over the place. It's
I
like,
mean, I've never every foreign thing particularly.
that's
See,
like
this is
Pyrospace
Blues
tonight.
stuff here. This is what he does with Shakespearean plays. He he raps them out like this
Raises it to be a fight.
on the streets for kids. Yeah.
Comes by one day and
You had a party at your apartment before we started, and he did them for us.
Yeah.
I think he did Hamlet or Macbeth or something.
Yeah.
Arthur hadn't have tried to stop it.
No, was it written this way, or did he take what was there and kind of scat it his own way?
Some of that was in the script. I mean, I wrote my own sort of version of it, which is, I remember a couple of actors that interviewed for it were upset because I was writing, black character.
In fact, I remember distinctly Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And he was really nasty. He said, what do you think I am, a step and fetch it, or some kind of, as though George was really slurring.
Huh.
And, that was the opposite of what George would ever be about.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were auditioning people for Night? That
Yeah.
Larry Fishburne auditioned for us, and the guy from ER?
Eric.
So that's the one I wanted. You and
Eric
I
LaSalle.
totally disagreed on that.
Because he was so slow.
I thought he was brilliant.
Slow. He says, but Tony Todd, I mean, he cried, and he memorized the script in 5 minutes.
Champion. So if I lose, it's on you.
Yeah, there you can see that lance bobbing around like looking limp. I remember the first cut on this movie was
17 hours. long.
amazingly long. We used all the footage, and we got. I still think it was better. Not that anyone would have wanted to sit through it, but
It
I always
seems
loved
to me
it.
that the first cut of all your pictures is pretty long, but that's because it's all character development and detail. It would almost be better to leave it that way. But of course, you have to cut it down for the studio time.
Yeah, but I wish sometimes that. It's very hard to get them to spring the money to print the long version. Now there's a little bit more willingness because there's shelf life on video and all, but it's very expensive to finish it twice.
And once, my lords and ladies, the champion of the day,
And of course, in these days, we had no money.
honored.
What did this film cost?
What was this? About $1 million?
For the next games, he will sit
I really can't remember, but yeah, I don't think it was much more than that.
absolved from certain duties and be granted privileges.
But we were able to shoot 90 days. Remember, we shot through a Screen Actors Guild strike even. Remember that?
I don't remember that.
I do remember some kind of bad stuff happening there. I think some of the actors got together, felt they weren't being treated fairly.
Was it this or was it?
No, but there was a
joy
group.
to be
it
there,
was
yeah.
actually Amy Ingersoll, Ken Hickson. They went to SAG saying, it's all kind of a sad blur, but.
Oh, here comes
Comes who?
the famous line. The Invincible.
And he has said it 1,000 times since then
Oh,
at
yeah.
the Renaissance Fair. I remember something we did with Ed Harris because as the Knights and as actors, we had to somehow lose faith in him. So we had a meeting, all the Knights in this hotel room, and we said, what can we do? And we decided that Ed wanted to quit smoking. He said, great, if we ever see you smoking, that's it. We don't love you anymore, And we did catch him, and that helped us, to have our attitude against him.
I remember Ed was always off fishing in that pond, but there was a pond over here somewhere. See it later, I guess.
Still
when
there.
On the return of the
Still there.
night.
You know what's funny? I was just back there about maybe 3-4 months ago at the Outdoor Life Lodge.
You were there?
Yeah. And,
It's still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Probably gone home already. Come on.
Kick that kid's face.
The good old boys there with their rifles?
No, thank God nobody was out there shooting. But,
Some of you have been waiting
it looked different somehow. I just remembered it differently, I guess.
hard about it.
Well, you probably didn't have tents and.
Yeah, no, certainly not. But it didn't look like there was room for that. Like there were more trees or something. I don't know.
There's Gary Davis with the headband in the background.
That's right.
Stunt there he is.
There he is.
There he is, yeah.
keep it on.
That's Tasso back. That's Tasso.
If you don't know how to write your own name, why don't you just make an X?
Greg Besnak.
That's his name.
Greg
Greg
Besnak,
Besnak.
yep.
It's got a chin strap.
And that's Marty Schiff. Except it's amazing how it's a guy that we all know and remember who for.
You all right?
Tom, you did a great job in this. I
Thank
have to
you.
tell And
I guess little John's Mason.
Nick Mastandrea, who was my AD on
This is
just everything up until the last picture I just did. Now he's off. Superstar AD, working for Wes Craven and a bunch of other productions. But
what you do.
his name is Nick, and he gives people nicknames. And we were talking about this before. There were some of them I can't remember their real names.
Well, Marty Schiff became Moon Baby.
Moon Baby,
Well, Zoot, didn't he get his name on it?
Zoot,
Zoot Dwyer.
Zoot Dwyer. Still,
Well,
That's what he uses now.
during
still
this,
uses it.
during this movie, I asked Nick to make a proclamation to change my name because I was the sleaze. So he made a proclamation that hereby grants Tom Savini a new nickname. I forget what it was now, but because sleaze stuck.
That's terrible, but I still. How's the sleaze?
That's right. That's right. And my new girlfriend found out about this old name. But Nick named everything, even the Creature and Creep show. He called it Fluffy, and it stuck.
right.
I see. I never noticed the dried blood on the arm. It looks great. Must be a really clean print.
This is like Evil Knievel or somebody like that.
You know, Tom, you and Ed were such perfect
Contrast.
contrasts. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think you could get any better contrast than that.
Can't, I'm sorry.
The little boy, I don't remember whose
forgot his
child he
name.
was.
I'll sign that for you, kid.
It looks like Joe King. I know it probably
No,
is.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
it wasn't.
It
It
wasn't.
does look like him.
Joe King.
Joe
Stephen
King is
King's-
all grown up, got married last summer.
Wow.
Didn't he go to Vassar or somewhere like that?
I don't remember
That's
that. I
what
just
they're
remember
talking
hearing he was getting married, or that. No, he was married, and he and his wife were having a baby. It was
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, talking about Stephen
Oh, that's
King.
my
There's your
brother.
brother. There's your brother.
Wow, look at that.
Cliff Forrest,
Wow.
whose father was the exorcist in Martin.
Hey, retail
The father is Zulimas, the older priest.
Zulimas.
Zulimas.
I wonder if Lincoln
And
was
Joe
also
King,
alive.
where we were talking
he
about, is Stephen King's son, who was in the opening in Creepshow. He's the one that does the voodoo doll.
That kid looked like the kid in the poster. That's why I
Yeah,
thought of that.
yeah, he did. Man, Tom, you didn't have a motorcycle in Creepshow.
Ah, there's
You had a
Molly.
garbage truck.
With Marty.
Sleaze and Moon Baby.
Moon Baby.
Don Barry.
Don Barry.
He was an effects guy that we met on Dawn of the Dead, who came in with Gary Zeller, right? And they accidentally, and there's Don Rubenstein and his little trio. Those musicians hung around this whole shoot, and they were playing music.
It's such a wonderful, wonderful score. I mean, it's, you know, it goes from jazzy to that dream music is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Were some of those guys from Dawn of the Dead, or are these guys all stunt? I forget.
No, all the spike action were the stunt guys.
Yeah.
Those two guys
What
up
we-
close that did that. They weren't stunt guys, were they?
No, but that guy's not doing this writing. I think
Yeah.
all he basically did was pull out. A lot of the actors all would just pull out. Tom, you did a lot of your own stuff, and
I remember I could never learn to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
There's one shot where you climb on a bike and it kind of pulls
it
out
pulls
a frame.
me off.
yeah, well, we had a sled. We had a thing that you could tow it on. See, these are the kind of roads that we used to drive on to get out, not this bad, but to get into this place. And at night, these stunt guys would follow us. We'd be driving home from the set. Gary would pull up behind your car and pop a wheelie and put his front wheel on the trunk of your car. And everybody was throwing M80s at each other.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild. Now this is on a sled, right? On a all the dialogue stuff and
Yeah.
stuff like this
Back of a truck.
on tow rigs. Back of a truck.
That's Moon Baby
A
right
little
there.
too high. You can tell in this shot that it's a
Whoa,
little
whoa.
Out. Oh. I love the dust flying.
Yo, Key
Wow.
Ridge.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Tasso just did one of those for some HBO movie or something
Really?
a year or two ago. And he watched that scene like 50 times to prepare for it.
That's a stunt guy that luckily looked just like Greg.
Looked just like him, yeah.
I never noticed a swastika on his forehead either.
It's really not
I think he wears that all the time.
for a while. But you lost your guts.
Chris, I remember you talking to the bike guys a lot for research on what's this part right here and what happens if I do this, you know, because you had to work on the
Trying to
motorcycle.
pretend I was a mechanic, yeah.
Okay.
I never mastered any of that stuff too well, I'll tell you. I was actually terrified of those bikes.
Of the bikes.
Yeah.
Well, here's where I got in trouble with you, George. This is where I was bleeding.
This was it, right.
Tasso and I right now are rehearsing the fencing thing, and he clocked me right in the top of the head. I didn't know it, but blood is coming down my face, and you saw it. You're bleeding. Why are you bleeding? You can't bleed.
There it is.
There it is. But this was for on camera, and that was.
Right.
I mean, you guys are great doing that stuff.
I always love this sequence.
Sharon.
Bill
Bill
Heinzman
Heinzman
is up there, the zombie from the first zombie from Night of the Living Dead, 90
Right.
or
Who is-
69.
There's something I didn't know.
He was the consultant. He was the archery consultant
Yes.
on this one. And these guys were actually jamming this. It's an old Oscar Brown Jr. tune. And they all got going.
The little person with the beard right there sells flowers downtown Pittsburgh.
Does he still do that?
Gary.
Wow.
No, that was Moon Baby right there.
He wears lifts.
When you go crazy.
Now this was a New Kensington in the warehouse, I think.
In the warehouse,
Yeah.
yeah. This was.
Change doesn't have to.
Didn't we have to shoot this? Wasn't this the first scene we shot?
We're bigger now.
This was very early.
I think it was the first
Might
scene.
have been the very first scene we shot.
Yeah, because I think it was very nerve-wracking to have this important scene shot right away.
Be shot first,
Yeah.
but it was because of the weather.
Yeah.
We had to go inside.
This was rain cover.
Yeah.
This was rain cover. We had very little rain cover, and I think we used it up in the first week.
Did you talk about how the problems with the weather?
Yeah.
That kid.
The tornado that blew down the set the first day?
Chris mentioned that. I didn't remember that.
Oh my, it's a disaster.
We have a photograph of Booba and I looking like
Oh yeah,
looking
there's
like thunderstruck, which we were. I mean, the whole thing got just whipped apart, and the tents were torn.
Oh, John Husted, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him in years.
D. Now this is a scene that where we all had to go out and chop down trees and do it in a warehouse.
I was never into this King Arthur crap anyway.
But I just love the feeling of all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Look at your hair, hon.
Yeah.
That's all I got here.
Oh.
Recently found out Faye was a woman.
Pip's known all his
It
life.
has such a great flavor, I think. It makes you want to, I don't know.
It's real. It's
want to live with him.
very real.
Yeah.
Very
Go-
natural.
go
I
do
mean,
it.
you
Tasso taught me that apple trick when I was about 12, and I've been doing it ever since.
Is that right?
Carefree.
Yeah, he didn't like that Randy stole it
And can we have this
for
discussion?
the scene.
Oh, really? That was Tasso's trick originally?
Yeah, sure. B.H. Barry taught that to us.
Wow.
have anyone talked about John? He's directing
Yeah.
now, and where he is doing.
George
He's-
mentioned him.
He's actually doing the miniseries remake of Dune
Yeah.
right now.
Sci-Fi Channel.
So, yeah.
People probably think I'm gay. I mean, ever since I've been a grease monkey, they've been thinking that anyway.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, you had already been in Martin.
Yeah.
Had you done a lot of acting? And you studied acting, didn't you?
Great to have you.
Yes, I had.
You really know how to cut.
I'd kind of wanted to be an actor from childhood, and had been in New York pursuing a career, and then George and I got together, and
I don't know either.
The rest is history.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe that's why you take so much heat, huh? We got married the day after
This shoot.
the shoot
Wow.
finished,
Knightriders.
and yeah.
Oh, I thought
In
you
fact,
guys-
The very day, actually, it was still shooting the day that we were married, and there's a story behind that.
Oh.
We had spent, 90-some days doing all the stunts and doing, the whole movie, and the whole movie because of the motorcycle controls, the Knights were using their left hand for the weapons, right? And the day of our wedding, they were still shooting out there, and they did all the inserts, close-up inserts of hand-swinging weapons, and they were all right-handed. So we couldn't use a single.
It was such a disaster.
Oh, so you didn't use it, huh?
We couldn't. Well, there's a couple of flashes that but we couldn't use half.
Did you invite company?
Half. We couldn't use almost all the stuff.
Wow.
And going back to our wedding, I had set the date August 23rd, making sure it was really safe that we'd be way off the shoot because when we started at the beginning of May. And of course, the shoot just never ended. I remember having to go buy George's suit, his shoes, everything, and just saying, well, please, you've just got to show up.
And that was the day that was the final cleanup footage that was being shot. All this little close-up stuff on that carousel.
This year is our 20th wedding anniversary.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Makes you realize how much time goes by.
Right here.
Did you wear your lucky scarf to the wedding?
No. I got dressed up. I think
we got rid of that lucky scarf, and we had too many films that didn't do well.
Yeah, we figured
We said,
Got rid of the scarf, and there you go.
it was holding us back. There's also a restaurant that we go to in LA all the time, and every time we do that, something terrible happens.
Yeah.
Wait, Patty has a nude scene here.
Semi-nude.
Semi-nude.
But the Babylon 5 fans, I bet, love this film because of that.
Nothing to raid, Tuck. We're looking for something.
Well, now they're going to be waiting for it.
That's right. I realize by the time this comes out, it'll be the 20th anniversary of Knightriders.
Yeah.
I keep telling you, Tuck, wine's not illegal.
Boy, Gary was in great shape.
Yeah.
It's more exciting to
I mean, he was, talk about a Prince Charming.
Really?
He should have been in,
I better not go back there.
Yeah.
They're probably looking for me.
All right,
Well, he is Lancelot.
yeah.
I'll be back.
Hey, you were just saying.
I have that shirt.
Not anymore.
You have that shirt?
I have that shirt.
You gave it to me.
I gave it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I never get any of that stuff. 'Cause I'm too large. I never get a crew jacket. I finally, on Bruiser, got a crew jacket.
I do believe we've found a cache
Of illicit
of the elusive
sponduit.
sponduit.
I see Michael Moran in movies every once in a while.
It's a plant.
I know his face, but I can't place him in another film. I'm trying to
I can't think of him now, but he's been in some big movies.
Yeah.
Well, Scarface.
I haven't seen that in years, boy.
I just got the DVD collectors on that.
Oh, boy.
As you may remember from our earlier conversations, I am a reasonable man. I'm sure we can.
These nights, these were the nights when the Rev was living with the Moon Moth.
You again? I told you to pay this guy off. Now, I bet your price just went up, huh? And I said we're not paying.
I always loved this scene.
Rat pile heap of dog shit, a goddamn sentence.
Rat pile heap of dog shit.
That's a good one.
That was it.
You didn't mess with Ed when he had a certain tone in his voice.
We ain't paying off on no frame. Bagman ain't.
He's got that look in his eye.
We got a show.
Now, this guy is
3 days. We do have to get there.
that skinny cop. I've seen him in some other.
We haven't got enough problems as it is.
I do think you boys ought to reconsider. Small town.
What am I? I'm the little devil on his shoulder, right?
All them lead pipes and stuff. Bagman ain't going to no jail alone.
Look at Ed. Look at him.
Anything happens.
He was amazing. He is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Just speak calmly, and there's power behind it.
Yeah.
The rest of you stay here until we get out.
And look, Tasso's the devil over your shoulder.
Yeah.
He's also, Ed
Tasso and
was
Robert.
also, and such a nice guy.
Rest me.
Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful guy.
Too bad about his career after this movie.
Yeah, really?
This was only his second movie, as I remember.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
and the first one hadn't come out yet.
Borderline.
And we found out about Ed through my friend Kibby, who was also a college friend, who said, "You've got to meet this guy. He's just..." And I can remember we were in a hotel and meeting actors in a hotel room, and Ed walked in, and
That man's hurt.
from the moment he said hello, we said, "He's the king."
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember Tasso saying that Ed was talking about adapting Riders of the Purple Sage even then,
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
and it finally came to fruition 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, they finally did it. It's another
Yeah.
one that got away from me. I was working with him on that. And, well, I mean, we were talking about my doing it.
Well, he really wanted you to do it, and then you couldn't do it because you were tied up with Before I Wake.
and a show.
Yeah.
That's good.
We're not
I
going to
got involved in this project called Before I Wake. I think I wrote 42 drafts of that script at 2 different studios, and I lost The Mummy because of that, and Purple Sage. And
If you can't raise him by phone, as soon as you get to town, try to find him. The rest of us, we got some packing to do. We're moving out.
But Cletus Anderson did a fabulous job on this.
On the road in an hour.
Barbara too. All this, the wardrobe is wonderful.
Yeah.
I think men look so handsome in shirts like that.
I have that one too.
That looks like a heavy,
great
like a
take,
wool shirt.
Tom, you really did a great job.
Thank you,
I mean, you really are like really matched Ed, in, you know,
And-
in a contrasting way. But I mean, really
You could
worthy.
yeah,
worthy.
you could really stay in there with him on an acting level, and that's a hard thing to do because you know.
'Cause he's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Intense.
Is tell me to send out for your boy.
But that stuff, I remember,
That's what you.
like that thing he just did. I mean, he's so physical. I mean, what was that play, Fool for Love? We saw him do in New York on a little intimate theater, and boy, I mean, he just had to be so physical and beat himself up so much in that.
Now, isn't Donald doing a score for a movie that Ed is doing?
Yes,
Ed
he did
is
it,
directing.
Oh, Pollock,
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock.
Jackson
But
Pollock.
Ed also stars in it.
Yeah. And Donald's doing the score for him. They've remained friends for all along.
Really good friends.
I called Ed once when I was doing Tales from the Dark Side to see if he would play a role. You know, I'm booked for 5 years.
Ed.
He's 5 years, yeah, that schedule.
That's Nan Mogg.
Yeah.
She's in Creepshow as Mrs. Danvers.
That's right. Pittsburgh actress.
No longer. I remember her moving away years ago.
Oh, really? She moved
Oh,
away?
years ago. After this, I think.
Only when I saw Rebecca did I realize
Mrs.
Mrs.
Danvers.
Danvers is.
Banging on people's doors at 4 o'clock in the morning.
She's great too.
Yeah.
This harangue.
In the morning, anyway. Sorry. Oh, you kids are all.
Remember, these trucks would just never run. They were just all junkers, you know. It's the only thing we could afford.
What an ambitious film this was.
Oh yeah.
Amazing, actually.
Since when you.
That's the thing I've always admired about you, George. The scope of your films is never restrained by your budget. It's always, you know.
Dawn of the Dead. You could never shoot that
Well,
today for that
when
budget.
Oh, I can remember when George showed me that screenplay. I said, "What do you think you are, MGM?"
Well, I actually wrote that screenplay on Dario's nickel. He brought us over to Rome, and I had Dawn of the Dead, and I had I had a sketch of a very different,
I don't know what I
It was a lot darker.
even more ambitious. No, Dawn.
Yeah, but it was a lot darker originally. It wasn't people hiding up in the air shafts or something.
Yeah, well, which is what they do now, but it's very different. But I wrote it over there, and Chris read it and said, "You're nuts." And the same with this, you know, like gee, we'll never pull this off, never pull it off. But it's not. We couldn't. If we had been doing these at a studio, forget it. I mean, it's all because of you guys and willingness to, stay up late and.
I mean, that is really.
some heavy
You think back
lifting.
on this. The only reason this or Dawn was pulled off was because so many people were willing to put,
Willing to do
like
it.
120% into it.
Well, you had a family here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be willing to do anything because you all loved each other.
You know,
And
and
it
it's too
shows on
bad.
film.
It just
And
well,
the
it does
project,
show. It shows in it shows in all of them. It's too bad. We just missed it. I think by 3 or 4 years. Had we been at a point where you could make more serious money, we were like the early tennis pros. Before they were paying anything for stuff like that. There could have been a real industry here, I think.
It's a perfectly good word. I think you know.
Well, there has been, mostly thanks to you. The Pittsburgh film industry has been kicking for 20 years.
No, I would.
Yeah, ups and downs. I mean, there was that one year that was like, what, $400 million or something.
It's
Everything
kind of a down year now, too, but
Hoffa.
Steve, my God, that's Steve.
Well, they just did Inspector Gadget. Wonder Boys is out now.
Dogma?
Yeah,
Dogma.
right.
Yeah, but they got made because of the power of those actors.
Yeah.
Ken Hickson. Remember the stunt guys hated to call these bikes tuna boats. Remember? Tuna boats.
All right. What the hell?
Big.
And they called the Hondas rice burners.
You can't even get small money anymore without some kind of name actor.
Lawyer, right?
Yeah. Well, it's very different. There's no independent distribution anymore. That's really the hard part is to get movies shown.
there's Bingo O'Malley.
Bingo O'Malley been in a couple of.
I saw
things
him
about
do
it.
a Flash and Wonder Boys when I saw it the other day.
Yeah.
Look out. Conflict.
You better be looking out for me, man. You better keep one eye on the door wherever.
He means it.
Yeah, they actually have
That's
to
why
hold
Bingo
him
starts
back.
nodding because he says, okay, okay.
Michael Moran was great in this too. He
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, he really pulled it off.
Really.
You really had to drag Ed out of there.
You do
Second
not want to
effort,
mess
second
with
effort.
Ed. Oh, he's so wonderful.
Huh? Ed?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, I miss these days.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, there's been quite a few people that have left your hands. Ted Danson.
Yeah,
Ed.
well, he was.
I want you to know that Ted never acknowledges that he made Creepshow in any interview or anything.
All you have to do is watch the movie. You can't miss him, you know?
I know, but I've always find it
Yeah, it's...
slightly sad.
Yeah.
Where was this house? I'm trying to remember. This was obviously this was
You know,
all
what
locations.
was that
This
woman's
not
name,
a
the
set.
mother?
Iva Jean Saraceni.
Her husband was an actor too. I think they.
Jean Saraceni.
Jean
I think they
Saraceni.
both teach at Seton Hill now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still get misty watching that.
One of the rain days, and then this we had to do because it was raining so much. We had to do this was in a warehouse, but we had to maintain the rain.
Well, the lighting is perfect.
Yeah, I remember Ed came out of this shot just applauding the grips. He was so appreciative because there were grips on the bumpers of the truck bouncing it and blowing rain on the windows and everything.
You know, that's another interesting thing about Ed. I've never seen anyone so aware of crew and so considerate of them and appreciative.
Yeah.
And you know what? The crew really notices and appreciates that too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Get in situations if you just call somebody by their name, you know, they're so appreciative of it.
Sure.
It's because many people don't, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
just point a finger and say you know,
yeah.
to carry this. So where was this? Was this?
That's in Tarentum, I think.
Tarentum, someplace like that. Judy Rawls, Amanda Davies, who was in Martin briefly in Martin.
I still have one of those posters too.
Yeah. Do you have one of those posters?
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing how this stuff.
Here's
Joe
Martin
Bontempi
Ferrero.
Means good times.
In Italian.
Marty
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. He gets chewed in half.
On the toilet.
On the toilet in Jurassic Park. He also played the Cuban guy for a long time on
Miami Vice.
Miami Vice, yeah. Wonderful actor, actually. But too bad. I mean, this sound, we had to dub a lot of this stuff because the sound was just not so great.
Now, you know, we got to Marty Ferrera and John Hostetter through somebody in L.A. I'm trying to remember who.
Well, John, we saw John in a play that Warner directed, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And but we got to Marty and somebody. I forget. It was Kibbe.
No. I want to say Joe Spano or something like that.
Oh,
Friend
maybe.
of his.
I don't know.
You know, Amanda died.
Yeah, she died not long after
Yeah,
Knightriders.
right.
Very sad. Had breast cancer. You know, there were several. I can't remember the name of the young girl who was a PA.
Oh,
also
I know who you're talking about. Oh, I know who you're talking. I don't know if you see her in this movie at all, but she was
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Very young.
I just saw Chris's sister and her brother in the background there, Mike Gornick's wife in the
Oh, and their baby?
fairground scene, their baby.
Talking about Jurassic Park, Martin Ferrero was in, and Patty Tallman also doubled Laura Dern.
Oh, really?
For the stunts, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The whole way? Or
I think
in
like
the
the action
car,
sequences.
when the T-Rex was attacking the Jeep, she kept talking about doing these scenes where they would make the Jeep collapse with nothing happening around it, you know, for when they.
Joe Bontempi?
it's a terrific.
Is that Richard back
scene.
there?
No, it's some.
Anyway, they're
I
looking
don't
for
know who they
Billy.
were.
I guess
They were
Steve said
lawyers.
They look like lawyers.
I have that shirt.
Tom, you got all this stuff.
How do you keep all this stuff?
I asked Barbara.
I thought
No,
Tom.
but how do you keep it all these years? What are you doing?
I thought Tom
It's in the
Dubinsky
closet.
had
He
everything.
forgets about it. And then he'll find it later and say, oh, you still have this shirt.
It's just the storage space to try to keep this stuff.
I used that shirt in Camelot when I played King Arthur.
Wow.
Oh, here's the big parade. I
Oh, the
remember this.
parade.
Yeah.
God. People came out.
There's a good crowd there. But that's like the entire population of Tarentum.
Good, John. It looks,
Molly McCluskey.
Yeah.
She was Miss Molly on
Miss
Romper
Molly,
Room
yeah.
for years.
Romper Room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's mother of 4 kids now.
Wow.
I remember it just took forever and ever and ever to get this stuff set up, right? People came and then people left. And
Don't forget to say hi to the birds. They love you. You want a ticket? Meet me right down here in front of the courthouse, okay? You're gonna love the show. I'll tell you. I'm gonna come back. I'll trade you that.
Okay, look at the thrones. Up.
No, there were close-ups earlier. I wanted to run in there and look, but it can wait.
Greatest show on wheels. Meet me in front of the courthouse.
Yeah, you packaged this right. It's a concept.
He played the exact same role in Jurassic Park.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Sleazy lawyer.
Oh, I used to love it when all the knights would come by like that with the lances up. I thought it was
Yeah.
so.
Small town here.
Didn't you push this to Roger Corman at one point, George?
Huh?
Didn't you?
Oh, we pitched it. No, well, no, we didn't really.
No, went right to
This
Sala.
went right to Sala.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or Arkoff. I'm thinking.
Sam Arkoff.
Sam Arkoff.
What happened was, I wanted to. Actually, it's partly where I got the idea from a Renaissance fair, and I wanted to do it straight. I said almost facetiously to Sam, "Okay, how about I'll put him on motorcycle?" Mm-hmm. And he said, "That's a good idea."
I remember that story.
I wanted to do it on horseback initially.
Mm-hmm. A true period piece.
Yeah. Well, no, like a Renaissance.
Oh, okay,
exactly.
okay.
You know, like what Tasso really does.
Uh-huh.
Well, shoot. You sprung him.
I remember you telling a story. I'll put them on motorcycles and give it a rock score. And
Right.
they went, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was, goofing.
God, what?
Then I started to like the idea.
Bakersfield Cowboys.
He was good, Don. Very sensitive.
On board?
Some, yeah.
I tell you what, I didn't sleep last night, and I don't think I
Ken, last I heard, it was a screenwriter.
Lawrence,
Ken
I was thinking
Hickson.
about taking some grub and finding a place to camp out around here.
He could ride, right? He rode his own bike, didn't he?
Yeah, there's a big shot of him riding it.
And
We haven't had
it's
any
funny.
sleep ourselves.
A lot of people couldn't.
Steve, you
So we shot some of the tracking stuff on a flatbed truck, but then we also had a little dolly that for shots of of pulling out. That's what you used, Chris, right?
I know. I was very humiliated that I had to resort to that.
You tried several times.
You don't notice it unless you think about it, really.
I think it's pretty
Unless
obvious.
you know.
Remember
No,
we
well,
went
you
to-
do because you was there.
We went to my neighborhood and with the motorcycle, remember, and tried to
Yeah.
teach you how to ride and ride around the field.
Yeah.
But I don't know the big.
Now, excuse me if I'm getting too deep here. I always look at the personal meaning of Knightriders. And was there a reason for calling the company Silver Bullet, or was that just a catchy name and it came to mind?
Yeah.
Hell, Billy, I can't even get those folks on the telephone. They book acts from guys like this guy that they've been dealing with all along.
We're not an act.
Yeah.
I think I had some clever line or something about it. I was just sitting here trying to remember. I think at some point there was some, how he always has, Joe Bontempi means good time. I think there was some quip about Silver Bullet, too, but
Talking about setting up some deal.
got lost somewhere along the way.
I'm going to have to go in a minute, but I just wanted to reminisce about, do you remember that first screening we had in the office downtown?
Yeah.
And
Of this?
Yes. Tom, were you there?
My life. I just
And it was on a flatbed, and Sala flew in, and a lot of big wigs from UA, right?
Damn it, Billy, y'all stoned.
Yeah, well, Frank Mancuso came in to see it on the flatbed.
And I can remember it was so exhilarating. And Donald's music was so fantastic, and they seemed. They walked out, and we thought they were going to give it a huge push. They seemed so excited by it.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
And then the guys standing there with big car. This was in that warehouse. I remember the guys trying to make the leaves blow with big pieces of card and not make sound.
The crickets help.
Yeah.
It's tough to live by the code.
Mix. I remember we mixed this film on our own equipment in our old company was called Light and Image, and we were exhausted. Remember, we worked around the clock. I think we were up for 72 hours straight, just grabbing an hour or two here and there, and taking the mag. At that time, it was on 35 millimeter magnetic tape, and schlepping those things around.
What, don't you remember being on the plane going out to LA for the screening?
Yeah.
And you and I are looking at the U.S. Air magazine, and there was some article right in the middle of it, about the 10 movies why movies don't make it, or some really scary foreboding thing.
Ooh.
And then we went out,
Go ahead.
and then we had that screening at the LA Film Festival. That's why we get on the plane.
Once I was in a jail.
And remember, you couldn't hear the movie.
I got my ass.
Speaking
It was,
of the
yeah,
mix,
the volume was, we kept begging somebody to raise the volume.
and it was our mix. Something.
Well, no, it wasn't. I mean, you can play this mix at a proper level. They just weren't playing it
In the theater.
I remember running back, and they said they had pumped it up as high as they could
The
pump.
reason I wasn't with you is because David Vogel and I were still back in New York, trying to take the mix and the finished mix and goose it here and there when they transferring it to an optical. And David Vogel and I flew out with the print, like the day of the screening or something.
That was a terrible night.
Yeah.
A terrible night. And the audience was full, and they really weren't into the movie. I think they wanted a horror movie from George.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You and I flew out there.
I could just remember opening that magazine, going, oh.
Separate fights.
Well, it's funny that you
We
mentioned.
got reviews, though. I can't.
We got great
Tynan-
reviews, but what do we
Tynan-
play? 1 week? 1 week?
Yeah.
Wow.
Back seat to the one for
Yeah, Newsweek loved it.
Yeah. Well, it was a small
No,
distribution
Newsweek
company.
didn't love it. As a matter of fact, that it was David Anson. He really killed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
what was the
what
one with-
magazine was it that
I thought it was either Time
reviewed it and Excalibur
and preferred this.
and preferred this?
Time.
Oh, it was Time. Okay.
promoter's money. Well, then I say let's take.
Well, I remember reading an airline magazine myself. I was probably about 12 or something, and there was a chart in the middle of who's who in Hollywood kind of thing. And it said at one point, it said, outside the establishment and happy to be there is George Romero. So I kept it,
Blue working out. He's what a character he is. He's such a great guy. I mean, he's still doing this.
Yeah.
He's still,
I don't think so, actually. I think that he's retired.
really?
Yeah.
I keep getting.
They were doing a big book about him as an homage to him for his retirement.
And it's silver, too.
Yeah.
Well, he did. I mean, at least the last postcard we got from him was off at some storytelling convention or something. He travels all over the world.
Oh, it's been a couple years, huh?
Time flies. Remember having to build these fires in that warehouse? We were getting smoked out.
Bad man. Listen, I've been thinking about what you said. The stuff you said earlier, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it real hard. There's not two different fights. There can't be two different fights. You've got to fight for your ideals, and if you die, your ideals don't die.
This is a really crucial moment here.
This is a turning point.
Turning point.
That's what
And Ed really got into this. too.
Sid Field would call this a plot point.
Of course, we felt like we were this troop. I mean, fighting against
Yes.
adversity.
Yeah, and again, it shows. It really shows.
Yeah.
The family atmosphere really comes across here. And when the quote unquote bad knights defect,
Yeah.
you really feel a loss.
Yeah.
Excuse me, everybody.
Go blue.
Back to sleep.
Go
Back to
blue.
Yeah, there's the one scene a second ago where he's behind the wheel. He looks like he's been up for about 87 hours.
Yeah. Well, this was on a sled. I remember he was getting so. We're on a flatbed truck on McKnight Road in Pittsburgh doing these shots, and it wasn't not for that scene, but for the final scene where he needs to sort of surrender himself and decide that, just sort of go placid, and he couldn't hit it, and when he wouldn't get it, he would just pound on the bike. I mean, pound on it, and he actually dented he actually dented that. What is that? Cowling
the gas tank.
He was so angry with himself.
What was I? Where was I just
It's just like
sucking on the lemon. Tom and I were at some restaurant now.
Yeah, I was telling George, you're constantly doing my lines from this movie to me.
My God,
Oh, is that right?
Here's Joe Pilato from Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
I still have the gas tank.
You do?
Yeah, because I turned the bike into a black bike. I got a black tank, a black fender and tail, and it's a black. But the old one is still up in the attic, the red one.
The red one. That's the one that was pounded.
Got a dent
right?
in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Ed Harris. I didn't know it was Ed Harris's fist. Now.
Yeah.
Now it's even more valuable. Watch eBay. Watch eBay, folks, for the gas tank. The gas tank that Ed Harris pounded in Knightriders.
Pots of corn? Why don't you go sell them at the shopping mall somewhere? I just
I remember shooting this and trying to. Mike was having fits, trying to keep him in focus.
Is he going in and out of frame?
Huh?
Oh, but he caught it. He did it.
Yeah. I don't know. You never see. Well, Holly Hunter was a PA on this, right?
Holly went to school with you and Tasso, right? CMU.
She was a classmate and a student of.
Who else? Who else was?
Sherry Belafonte.
Sherry Belafonte. Well, and Miss Molly there was Holly's roommate.
Molly and Holly.
Molly and Holly.
Oh boy, I bet they got it.
Well, he's just so.
That guy right there?
Yeah.
What?
The bearded guy.
Yeah.
He looks familiar, but I can't.
He and I flew to Texas for Tasso's marriage at the Renaissance Fair.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah,
Wow.
we got in costume and everything.
Wow.
It's a good thing my parents don't have a DVD because I don't know if they know that Tasso got married at the Renaissance Fair.
I don't know if Tasso
Well,
knows.
I say there were. Well, there was a marriage. Who was it? Ron, one of the knights.
Oh yeah.
Got married during this shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got divorced during the first part of the shoot and got married during the second part of the shoot. I don't.
He's a guy that pounded the fire extinguisher off the hotel wall one night.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He was a rough and.
They had an argument. They were always. He married her, but they were still screaming,
screaming at
arguing,
each
yeah.
other. And was she one of the courtiers or something? Or?
I was always fascinated by this scene as a kid because I had never seen that much cheese on a pizza.
And that much ham in a van.
Anyway, I think it said something in the script about all this cheese.
Oh.
Cletus obliged.
I have the script. I have.
Oh, so
Tasso's-
Cletus did the pizza, huh?
I don't remember who
the
did
art
the
director
pizza.
did the pizza.
Extra
You
cheese.
need a special cheese, Cletus.
Yeah. Extra cheese.
I love the horns. I love the little devil horns.
Are you with that guy in the suit out there? Huh? Yes.
Yeah, I have the script at home. I think I have Tasso's script with the leather, the
Is that
cover
right?
that says Knights embossed on it, you know. The rubber chicken.
Pizza bath. Here it comes. How many takes of that?
How many suits did you go through?
Yeah.
That's probably the only cinematic pizza in the face. There it is, the
Outdoor Life Lodge.
The sign is no longer there.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
This one's much better looking.
I don't know if they tore the building down and rebuilt it because it looks so much smaller.
Different? Maybe it is different. I don't know. Anyway.
This.
It was. So I know, actually, Salah Hassan and the Hassanins, you really supported us, when you think about it, because this show went so far over.
I took a major chance in my life to do this.
On weather and stunts and just the problems of producing it. And then Creepshow, we almost didn't do the fifth story.
I remember we had a meeting about should we
do the bugs. That was the E.G. Marshall episode.
Thank God you did.
Yeah, I think that's a great one.
This was part of a 3-picture deal, wasn't it? It was Dawn,
Yeah.
and then you had a contract for 2 more.
Well, it was it was Knightriders, Creepshow, and Day of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
They distributed Dawn
That dream rubbed off on me.
and financed the other 3.
On the basis of Dawn.
On the basis of Dawn's success. But it's
Now you tell me it can't be done.
they really very, very supportive. You know.
What's he doing these days, Salah Hassan? Is he still?
He's still consulting, and I think he's just enjoying his life at this point.
His son, Salah's son, also a Hassan name. What?
Yeah, runs Tadeo now.
Yeah, Tadeo. He's also married to Adrian King from Friday the 13th.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
I did a convention with those guys.
Wow.
In fact, he suggested that when Adrian is speaking, I should go up and squirt blood on her, which I did.
Did she appreciate that?
Well, it went down her blouse, and nobody's, like her breast suddenly became full of blood. And it was,
Oh, boy.
Nobody understood what the hell I was doing and why I did that.
So were these real artisans that you found, or is this just Barbara dressed these?
No, it was
Cletus,
all
rather?
set dressing.
Wow.
And, yeah, they weren't really.
I hate to say it.
It's all stuff that they found.
I hate to say it. This guy in the red shirt has to get the award for worst extra.
Which guy?
This guy.
This guy.
I know that guy. I know that guy.
You know that guy?
Yeah.
That's Kevin Spacey, isn't it? No, Kevin.
Frank something.
I don't remember who that was.
Sorry, Frank. Sorry.
But Holly never got in, right? See if we could re-release this and say
See,
Holly
starring
Hunter.
Holly Hunter. Featuring, introducing Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter, Ed Harris, Tom Savini,
and this guy.
You see,
Marty.
the smaller the group, the juicier.
Bores.
Just like
Bores.
Actually, I wrote that whole speech because he used to, when I did the Crazies with Hal Jones, the guy that's in the background there, he always used to do Brando. And he, he has a certain angle on him. He sort of looks like Brando. So that's where the Brando speech.
He does. He does a great
from.
impersonation too.
Man, I could have had bath.
Boars. That was Charlton Heston's sidekick's name in the war.
What? Warlord?
Warlord. Yeah. Richard Boone played Boars.
That's right. Well, these were all names from
Arthurian
legend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morgan Le Fay.
Half the group's leaving, I swear it. Alan, I think I'm going to pull out.
Who is she again? The photographer? Is she?
I have no idea.
Can't think of her name.
Go take some pictures of birds. Hey,
It's terrible not to be able to remember someone's name.
It's only been 20 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Boris, you pulling out? Yeah. Billy's out of commission. Everybody's cutting.
No, but you said one of the.
There's no bread.
I guess it was Maureen appeared in Martin for a second.
What's that?
Saydusk, or when they first came out of the building at in Tarentum there. You said one of them appeared in Martin for a second.
Right out of here. The whole thing's over, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Amanda Davies.
Amanda Davies.
The Morgan's, the woman that Morgan's having the fling with here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was a friend. She was another person that worked at Lady Esther's, the restaurant in New York.
Oh, no kidding.
And
that's the key. If you want to be in a George Romero film, you have to go to Lady Astor's.
Work at Lady Astor's.
Yeah, work at Lady.
It's not there anymore. It's called Toast.
Toast.
So Lady Astor's is Toast. But yeah, man. I mean, gosh, I think everybody worked there at one time or another. That's where Chris was working when I first met her, and that's how I met all those other guys. Jay Stover. Robert Ogden was just very good to actors and, very supportive.
These bikes make me very happy.
Look at all the hair I had.
Look at all the hair Tasso had.
Look like, yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's a moment that bothered you for a long time.
What?
Like Tom watch.
Yeah, and I could have done something here. He does this gay thing. Well, look at this.
I don't think
you I should have knocked his hand away. What are you doing, you?
Knock his bike over.
That's what he was doing. Like, poor baby. I'm a bastard,
I'm going to sit around and wait for you.
We never got another.
Well, be where I have my friends. I mean,
I don't
at least
remember.
Get up and give them cards or something.
Oh, you see, that's why do you do that?
Did I think that was okay? Funny?
I'm not the loser, Morgan. There's nobody.
Things are collapsing here, unfortunately.
But someday there's going to be.
Those things, how did you get those? Does that armor strap on in two pieces? Or how did that
It looks
work?
like.
Do you remember?
Mine, yeah. Well, you put it over your head like a shirt and then attach the waist.
Oh, I
then
see.
the shoulders went on separately and the elbows. And
How can you be so...
Oh, so the straps up on top of the shoulders are not...
they stayed there. Those are like, yeah, they're cosmetic.
Not for some of us.
He speaks.
It's a
Finally.
More than that, it's a whole lot more.
That's why we're all amazed, because he speaks.
Spiritual
Yeah.
fix out of this, then you belong with that loud mouth.
No, this was kind of a
Randy
big,
Kovitz,
a big thing for the time, wasn't it? That these guys fall in love with each other and have a sort of a romantic.
Well, it was the gay element was big in here, I think, for the first time in a film.
That's the one where Chris says she can always tell she's not pulling out.
You can see behind him, it's a little bit different because it's done by hand. It's a little bit different.
Oh, I can't tell.
Yeah, Chris is obsessed over which throne is which.
I will find out.
Discover it.
Because you see the throne here, you see the throne at my house. You know?
Yeah, we have this. One of these thrones is 8 feet from me right now, and Tom has one at home.
This is the biggest thing in my living room.
You each have a crate from Creepshow also.
I have a Creepshow crate.
So do I, and we talked about that in the...
Castrol. Were we getting plugs on it? Nobody was giving us money for this.
No product placement from
product
Castrol.
placement. Honda, we couldn't get, right? They said, forget about it.
Oh.
You're doing dangerous stuff. These hacks were actually sort of homemade, right? Just welded together. They weren't really...
Yeah, I think so. Those guys were like building this stuff all the time.
When I wrote it, I was just thinking sidecar, you know. And I think when one of the first meetings we had with Gary Davis, he said, well, you can't use a sidecar. You won't be able to hang on. You won't be able to stand up. Well, so...
When you were in it, the guy driving the bike was always saying, lean left, lean right, lean left.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They didn't have enough counterbalance. Huh?
When you turned, especially, the guy would say, lean right or left. Because they were stunt guys driving the actual bikes that we were standing in.
Were there a lot of injuries, a lot of like minor?
There were 2 or 3 that were fairly serious.
Freddie Heist was serious. And the last day of the stunts, when the two guys did
the double,
like Freddie Heist's thing, they jumped up screaming, look, I'm not hurt. They were, no shoulders, are just, I got all my fingers, look. I remember it was a big deal. They were celebrating because they didn't get hurt on those flip overs.
Well, they were doing cable offs, which is the way they used to do it with horses before the animal rights people came around. They would tie cables or ropes to the front hooves of the horse.
Front legs of the horse, yeah.
So that the horse would, when the ropes tightened, the horse would flip over.
You would run out of rope or run out of cable. Yeah.
Right. So they did that with the bikes, and they would hook the cables onto the front wheel axle so that the bike would, but they had to measure that it would be exactly the same distance, each left cable and right cable.
Right.
And that's what happened to Freddie, right? It was a little bit off. I
don't know. I just don't think they anticipated that your legs would hit the handlebars.
I remember one, I don't know if, maybe it was in that opening sequence, but I thought there was one of the accidents was caused because the ropes were not even. So the bike, instead of going straight forward, went
to the side, right?
You know.
Well, it's funny. It seems like once that first flip where Freddie Heist went off as you.
Yeah.
It's like as if the other nights caught on. That's the rest of the movie. They're jamming stuff into the spokes, you know. This'll get him.
And maces that later on, the guy hits in this scene here, I think. There's a guy going to do a cable off, but he smashes into a ramp right afterwards.
He broke his steel cup, didn't he? The guy that crashed into the ramp?
I don't know.
I think
his steel crotch
told me
cup?
That. Yeah, he was wearing like a steel jock strap, and he hit the ramp and cracked the cup.
Oh, man.
Better the cup.
Now that rock and roll, that's library music, which you're famous for using. Is it probably Capitol or DeWolf?
Capitol or DeWolf, I don't remember.
I just wrote to DeWolf.
You wrote to them?
Yeah.
To try to get some of that?
Trying to get a cue sheet from them because I'm doing research for my book.
For which?
For Dawn.
Oh, for Dawn.
But there's some here. There's some in Creepshow, a little bit.
A little bit.
But the same stuff? The same?
Same library, not the same music.
Yeah.
Well, so I just remember in Dawn that the final thing was the gonk. I remember that was the name of it.
The gonk was the
funky
famous
music
theme.
that plays when the zombies are all walking around. Well, we did have a score for a real composer for this.
Sure.
And we did for Creepshow too, although we used a little bit here and there of library stuff.
Now I'm watching for right hand hits.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing. But I can't believe how whoever was on that shoot. I mean, we always blamed continuity, but everybody, props people, whoever was there that day. I mean, after 90 days of doing it with the left hand. So, I mean, there's only one or two little glimpses that we were able to use from that whole day of shooting.
You know, the mics were off when you were talking about that, but because you had the throttle with the right...
There's something I noticed.
Yeah.
I hate to mention it, but a lot of those right-handed weapon swinging shots are static. They'll be swishing back and forth on the bikes, and then all of a sudden the background is still.
Well, I can hardly even isolate them. So
Yeah, they are. They're crazy.
they had a carousel, right? We had a carousel built so that the camera could be on one side of the carousel and the rider on the other side. You can see that ramp going up, huh? Famous
rubber motorcycle.
Rubber motorcycle.
That one, not that one, but the one that hits her.
Yeah.
Boink.
Boom.
I remember I came over and grabbed the tire and dipped it in mud and then moved it across the woman so she'd have some tire tracks on her.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Michael Gorna came over and said, what can we do to her? So.
Oh.
Smart. Now, the baby in the stroller was Gary Davis's daughter, Jennifer Davis.
Well, I didn't remember that.
I remembered it because...
The bike looks good, though. I mean,
yeah.
You wouldn't know it. Hey, did Cletus make that?
I don't know who made that, but it was really lightweight, and you suspended it from a crane or something, and swung it like a pendulum.
Yeah. John Amplis. He has such a ephemeral quality.
I got a lot of energy after a big fight.
Yeah, he did add sort of a mystical quality to the silent mime there.
Yeah. He has that. He has it in Martin. And the Rowdies. Same guy is back, I guess. Right? He's from town to town. What a really Harlequin, huh, John? Beautiful.
Pale face, white face. That's his character's name, White Face.
White face. Wink. Who doubled Cynthia? I don't remember. Yeah, that wasn't a...
Let's go.
Look at Blue sweeping around in a big cape.
That's Freddie. Freddie with a painted goatee first, and then it was me.
Is that right?
Yep.
You mean Freddie pulled up?
Freddie pulled up, and then when you cut back, it's me.
Wait, you don't see that one, and I don't remember that.
I never noticed that.
Way.
Oh, wow. That was a good one.
Yeah, I remember that one. I have a tape somewhere that's just the stunts from this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it something that you shot, or that?
I don't know. It was a teaser, a promo for the film, and then was followed by all the stunts.
Wow.
Whether it was Gary Davis's or...
Here's the double.
Oh, there they go.
Oh, the double.
That was the last stunt of the show right there.
Yeah.
Yes!
And the two guys...
Well, we just married on radio.
So the two guys stood up after that, unscathed.
Yep.
Huh? I think the one before with Cynthia was, I think that was one that one of the guys maybe got hurt on. I remember a shoulder injury.
Somebody got a shoulder dislocated.
But I mean, I couldn't believe every time we did one of these things, I would say, oh yeah. I mean, it's the first time that I ever had that feeling of, God, just on somebody's creative whim, somebody could get hurt here. Of course, probably the worst hurt anyone got on a bike was you going through that window in Dawn of the Dead.
The breakable window.
The breakable window that wasn't breakable.
Remember you had a piece of glass in your office and you would bang it on your desk. Say, look, this is the breakaway glass, and it wouldn't crack.
These guys poured a breakaway window for Tom to ride through on Dawn of the Dead, and they poured it on an uneven surface.
On the mall floor.
Up in one end, it was it was like a piece of carbon paper, but at the other end, it was like that.
It was a cinder block.
2 inches thick.
You can see it in the shot, actually, when you go through it, because it's a slow-mo shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the glasses flying.
I was covered with padding except for my knee, and that's the only thing that got hurt because my knee hit the thick
Hitting
glass.
that thing.
Like a brick wall.
Just an error. 'Cause they also blew a window out at the mall, remember that?
And it fell around Catherine.
Yeah. Oops, put the wrong powder in there, guys, sorry.
Too much powder on that one, guys.
Knightriders is full of beautiful shots, George, but the one I like the best is coming up with the sword.
Oh, yeah.
With the sword, I love that. That's a very effective moment. I mean, Ed sells it so well, and it worked. The blood on the worked so well. Just
the one of the Indian appears with the dust clearing. That's another nice one too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was all stuff that we didn't have
storyboards or anything, right?
Or big deal effects guys, or there was the one effects guy, but just a lot of that was luck. The fog in the final battle was just there. We were up one morning.
Was this storyboarded? Was Knightriders story?
Well, Pat Buba and I sat up for, because he was going to be the editor, and I remember we sat up for days and days and days. What we did was little maps with just the initials of the characters' names, so that we would know for background continuity and so forth who was sitting where and blah, 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 blah. But that all sort of,
went by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, it was very hard to keep track when we were on the spot. We also found out, as Pat was cutting, had begun to cut a couple of little things together there, that it didn't really matter. It wasn't that critical. What mattered was just the choreography of the stunts, and Gary was keeping track of that. Just as long as it was the same night in the right costume.
Oh, right across the face. I hope that was a plastic sword.
Yeah. He must have had.
Weren't they all? I mean, all the ones on the bikes, weren't they? They were all fakes, right?
I don't know.
The heavy mace that you have is like polyfoam or something on the end of a stick.
It's still heavy, though.
It is heavy.
It's solid.
It would hurt.
It doesn't flex.
But now all the planning, it's like when you get down in the trenches finally, you just go on instinct. See, that's like an accidental effect there.
Leaving him in a cloud of dust, but it's a great touch.
It just happened. And that was all, a lot of these benefits from that limestone, which was really sort of an afterthought. And it was, I guess, Cletus and the production designer getting together with the stunt guys and saying, hey, if we try to do this on a field, it's going to be Mud City. Even if it hadn't been raining for 3 days, the bikes are going to chew it up. So we needed a surface that would stand up and wouldn't poison us. Like I think Laurie Cardell still thinks that she's carrying around half of the cave from Day of the Dead somewhere inside her lungs.
I went to that set, and just from my hands were filthy for days.
Yeah.
And black.
Oh, we were coughing and sneezing black goo into Kleenexes. Yeah.
Here's where you'll see a couple of the static close-ups.
Yeah, I remember. But it's interesting. Even though we had all this, we wound up having a lot of time to shoot this. There are probably fewer shots in this than there are in Martin. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. The film's long enough that may not be true. But
yeah, the
in
ratio.
each individual sequence, not quite the amount of coverage.
What was your ratio on this? Do you remember? Shot-wise?
I don't remember the ratio of footage. But see, Martin was also 16 millimeter, and it was less expensive. And this was, each setup was bigger, and with the stunts and all that. I was worried that we weren't going to get any energy in it, because each shot had to be choreographed and plotted out. Was that, I don't know if that was one of the, no, that was, these are on the carousel.
Yeah.
These are the things that are moving. Oh, he's down. I I didn't see any of those static
No,
ones. I
it's,
think there
it's
may be
later
in the
on,
final
I think, at
battle.
the final battle, yeah.
That we had to use some of them. But yeah, I love this moment too. And this
Begins with the crowd.
Donald's music, so great.
Well, the music sets the mood, and then even the crowd
Yeah.
falls silent, like they know something important is happening here.
Yeah. And Ed, look at this bunk. Really, just a great job. That.
Right there.
Yeah. Nice shot. Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Followed the blood.
Uh-huh.
Fighter yield. It really works nicely.
Oh, yeah.
Whose is it?
It really does hold up.
It does
I mean,
hold up.
I could sit and watch this movie anytime, you know?
I'm thrilled that it holds up. You know, I just think it's
Gotta get out of here.
Special.
special. Yeah, it does have a magic quality. I mean, it really does have a. Did you do that scar, Tom, on him?
On
Gary?
Gary Lyon. On the mouth?
On his forehead there.
Forehead.
Oh.
Mouth.
I don't know.
You don't remember?
I don't know.
I never noticed it until you just mentioned it.
He only has it here?
I don't know if he has it on the. I don't know if he has it later. I think we probably decided it was too much sweat or something. I don't know. But maybe he has it. I don't know. You know, gosh, it's amazing how you don't remember stuff.
I don't remember. On any given day, it could have been, you know.
Could have been anything.
5 seconds of some one day. Yeah.
In those days, it was half inventiveness, right? On the spot.
Yeah.
Right? Dawn of the Dead was amazing that way. But
George, can we drive a screwdriver through John's ear? Yeah, go ahead. 2 hours later, we're building screwdrivers and driving a screwdriver. Is it?
soda straw screwdrivers. And it's such a remembered moment, too, that it's a cringer.
Oh, yeah. Like the helicopter zombie. They applaud in the theater when they see that guy.
Yeah.
John was recognized, Harrison, in a bowling alley in L.A. years later, you know, and I think he'd shaved his mustache off or something, but some woman said, "That's him, that's the guy from Dawn of the Dead with the screwdriver." And they came over and asked him, and he said, "Yeah, you recognize me?" He's like, "Yeah."
What's the matter, Steve?
They look like they live pretty good here. I don't know. It's comfortable. Comfortable digs. Oh, man.
Cletus really created an
whole
atmosphere there, yeah.
yeah.
With the candles and the pillows.
Yeah.
Beat the blackbird.
Albert.
Albert.
Round ass square. Don't know if you beat him.
Blue.
Did they go?
Mike did a nice job, too, really.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's he up to these days, Mike Gornick?
I don't know, actually. I haven't heard from him in a couple of years. He lived in New York for several years working for Laurel.
Did you find out how long we stay here?
But
how much it cost us?
Really talented guy, did a lot, a little bit of everything.
Another jack of all trades. You had so many of those.
Well, that's what we all used to have to do. I mean, I think any of us could have almost done any of the jobs on making those early films. Yeah.
This is a nice tranquil moment here.
Yeah. I don't, is this Donald?
I think so. It sounds like Donald.
Donald Strummin. Yeah, I think it might be.
Little traveling music, Donald.
Yeah. Well, it was so great. I mean, the song that he does in the end, which he actually, we actually recorded on the spot there. I mean, it's not an overdub. I always love the little bird that comes in.
Oh, yeah. The perfect bird.
Yeah.
Now here, again, I don't know if I'm getting too heavy film thinking here, but on the personal level, again, the Knights who leave and go off with the sleazy promoter, then the good guys take off and go visit a guy who looks just like you.
Like me,
and
John Roddick.
Sits around talking about movies.
Oh, he's another poor guy who just passed away. And this
Did
guy,
he?
John.
Oh.
Yeah.
here for a couple of days.
We still see Nancy. One of Nancy's sons was a PA on Bruiser. Just finished a couple of weeks ago. Oh,
Blue?
different strokes, lifestyles of the rich and famous. Corrupt.
Now, where was this house?
This was Molly McCluskey's house,
Yes.
Miss Molly's house.
North Park.
Yeah. This was a good bit here. Remember, you said, "Hey George, how about this? Isn't it in the little thing?"
I did it already. I stole that from Two for the Road. Albert Finney did that in the water to Audrey Hepburn.
Is that right?
Yeah.
This is decadent. This is what?
One of my favorite movies.
No,
at
that's
the
an
time.
homage. You didn't say
Yes, there's Jeannie Jeffries,
Jeannie Jeffries.
the makeup woman on this movie.
Yeah.
Jeannie over here, that's Sheila.
She also is she's a zombie. She got to get shot up as a zombie.
Got her face blown
Dawn
off.
of the
and,
Dead.
I put a blonde wig on and did her push out of the truck when they kicked him out. Now see how dry my hair is? I made sure I quickly dried my hair.
That's AM, Paisan. I want you awake and looking good.
He always looks good.
And everything's okay
But
with
this was, beg, borrow, and steal, whatever. They were happy.
Gorgeous.
People happy to have us come to use their place as a location.
Before you go, what I need from you is your signature on just a few documents. It's insurance forms. It's just so you don't sue us if you fall off your bike, you know? You got workman's comp there. I'll talk to you later.
But it goes to show you, it's all people energies that makes it work, So
Now, was that in the script?
Nope. No, those are always the greatest things, the greatest moments, where sometimes people come up with a real impromptu.
This was tough in front of the whole crew, to.
Jesus, you really are a hunk. Oh, God. I wish he wasn't coming back.
You wish he wasn't coming back?
Louis, the guy I live with.
Yeah, I've had that reaction before.
So what the hell did you expect? You didn't think I could afford...
This was all at that house, right? This
Molly's
was
house.
locations, yeah. We didn't have any really elaborately built sets for this, did we?
That said a lot.
That's
That comment said a lot.
well, that whole statement that Greg made about when I watch Knightriders, I can't tell if you're acting because it's you. That is you. I've seen you do that.
Now this hurts because this is a leather thing with studs on it. You couldn't wear underwear, and it's like it was like itchy and pointy and jabby. And now this girl just walked off the elevator, and you cast her. One of the girls didn't show up for this or something. This girl was getting off the elevator.
Yeah. Oh, there's James Hamilton on the lower right. He was the actual production still photographer on the show.
On the left, that's Ramona Zini, Ivo Zini's daughter, the guy that does all the restorative cosmetic things for people that have been accidents in Pittsburgh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's his daughter.
Wasn't she also in Maniac or something?
Her, no.
Ramona Zini? No?
Which one?
On the left is Ramona Zini.
I love that work.
But look at it, it's a form. See, there's 7 cats, that's
Oh, I liked her.
I bet.
I followed her to her car, but she had to drive away. She had appointments that day. We shot this downtown somewhere.
Yeah. Where was it? At Light and Image or something? No, someplace else.
I think it was the Clark Building, because I remember the Feldman's Dental Supply was in the Clark Building.
That was James Hamilton in the background adjusting the light. And Donald practicing his tune.
I never noticed that there's a roll of thunder there, sort of, and he's singing the song. It's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
What happens later?
Did you do it on purpose?
That we laid in, yeah.
The roll of thunder, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, after we knew that it was going to be raining at the tent.
Yeah.
Because it actually was raining in the final scene, and there was nothing we could do. We just shot it.
No, the fire department came out with big hoses, remember?
But we had to match them, right?
Oh, I see. Oh, that's right. Of course. We had to match because it was raining.
Right.
So the fire department just came and pointed hoses up in the air and
Right.
all came down on us.
No rain towers.
New song.
I'll play it for you someday.
That's just the way Donald is. I mean, he's just the sweetest guy in the world, man. Still a good bud. We had a ball working on this new score.
How long are we gonna stay here?
Rent's paid. It's a nice place. Till they come back.
Think they're coming back?
Yes.
I remember just whipping this scene together because Donald had the song.
They'll all come back.
Well, I know it's important to me, like for us. I'll still be here. No, but I'm not sure about that.
I mean, we completely invented this on the spot.
Those guys, the stray sheep.
Did they ad lib or did you write this?
No, we wound up writing it, but we sort of wrote it together.
Take you all for
I wrote a draft, and then they cleaned it up.
Man, you give us everything, man. You give us.
Donald's good.
Natural.
Yeah. And it has just such.
Yeah, but I don't pay you any attention.
I mean, he's amazing. Everything's in his face. You know, it made him difficult to cut. Like if we had to cut from take 1 to take 2 or whatever, he's really, he's either, you know, he's in one place or another place. I mean, in his emotions show so much on his face that it was hard to cut away and go to another cut or cut from a wide shot to a close-up, or, you know, it was difficult. I mean, nothing bad about that. It's just that it's, you know, he has.
He was giving you something more or better each time.
Yeah. And I forget, we found, this was a location too. We found this house someplace.
It looks like falling water or something.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was up there somewhere, up north somewhere. The Teen Queen. Huh?
See the Walkman she's listening to there?
Yeah.
That was one of Tasso's birthday gifts because it was the first, they called it Sony Soundabout at that time.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I remember that was big on the set. Because Harrison had done some music for something called Shooby Dooby Moon that Rudy Ritchie and I were talking about doing. And they brought it out and played it for me, and that was the first time I heard a Walkman, you know, with a headset, and it sounded so great.
Yeah.
You know?
The Spaghetti Monster.
The Spaghetti Monsters, yeah. I wish we could have done that.
Here he comes. Here
comes Brando.
Here comes Brando.
I mean, he's actually a student of Brando's. You know, he knows everything.
Anti-hero.
Pretty self-indulgent moment here.
Remember that night in a restaurant in the garden? The waiter came on my table and he says, "Kid, this ain't your night. We just ran out of fish. You'll have to eat the chicken."
Hey! Hey, come on! Can't we go in party or something?
This is my brother, Charlie. You should have looked after me a little bit. You should have looked after me so I wouldn't have to get stuck with a bad piece of meat.
I gotta go. I love your shit. What can I say? We got something to do.
Good, Stan. I couldn't have pants.
Poor Patty.
Poor Patty.
Oh, no, this teddy bear that she punches here, that was Tasso's from when he was little.
See that?
Smokey Bear doll.
There you go.
Did that help her, I guess?
I don't know. I guess they had it with them at the hotel or something.
No, Patty's just so good.
Yeah.
Cry
Well,
on
it's
cue.
such-
You know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a great little moment, you know. I mean, it was her idea to bring it.
I'm sorry.
And it's so great. I mean, it's a nice little thing that, you know, just sort of paints her for what she is.
And this sad thing becomes a little bit funny with her very last words.
Right. Yeah, it sort of brings you back up.
Yeah, yeah.
Get off it. I love some of these underscores that Donald did, really. Big shot. He must have had more than 6 lights on that one. Not quite enough. We couldn't afford a crane to put a moon up, you know. So. Yeah.
She does use it.
There's Old
So,
Smoky.
yeah. That really helps. Daddy's home.
Oh.
This was at some motel. Was it our?
Yes.
Did we
Yes.
do this at the Holiday Inn where we were all staying?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Remember these guys trying to work us fight out?
Morgan, bad craziness.
Hey, forget it. I'm staying in your room tonight.
That's the guy that got married.
That's Ron, yeah.
Marty.
Ron
Moonbag.
Carrier. Did you choreograph this or did the stunt guys?
I don't know.
Who were they?
Well, one, forget the son of I think it was Salah's son's girlfriend, or the young Hassanine's son.
Right. Yeah. Salah's grandson.
Yeah.
Buck.
Buck.
The nickname again. Buck. Buck and Doe.
Buck and Doe. That was her name, Doe.
Right. Nicknames. Buck and Doe. Here we go. I love this moment.
There can only be one king, Morgan. You can't just split off and start over again whenever you want. We both know that inside. There can only be one king, one time. That's the law.
I love this next thing when the thing comes over the hill. The first time I saw this was on your flatbed. Yeah,
right. Yeah. I think Donald called this piece of music Billy Meets Godzilla or something. I don't know why. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
It's sort of. I remember never quite got exactly the right footage. Those things were hard to ride, right? Because those shields were catching
I wouldn't know. I think
wind.
that's some stunt guy there. I love when they cut at an angle and the music picks up.
Right, yeah. I was trying to do, I don't know, do you remember the Big Country when they all come riding back and they... And one at a, a couple at a time, the horsemen come riding in with him. But this is Donald taking chances with. Look at these shots. But I have vague memory of those things being impossible to because the wind would catch
like
that
an
thing.
airfoil here. But that's Gary and Boris riding for it.
Was that actually Lottie?
Yeah, you can see their faces in front of all those guys.
Cast in the bones.
Albert was a trained martial artist, really good,
yeah.
black belt or something. I remember Tasso and I sneaked up on him in the hotel. He was coming around the corner. We said, let's jump him. We jumped out, and he suddenly appeared across the way, ready to go.
Really?
Just as a reflex,
wow.
a reflex action. He was great.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a tough guy.
So I remember him. We were just all concerned about using a real Indian instead of we were into our.
Was he
PC? Stuff.
Was he of Indian descent?
Yeah. Native American. It's glitzy things. That was all foam, right? Too?
Yeah, yeah. And like sandpaper. Really rough sandpaper.
I'm surprised they didn't get all totally chewed up. So they look fragile. Now, I remember this. Ed, in the script, the description of something when he cries here says that his chin becomes like a peach pit.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to do it, and I think he just about gets there. He took that to heart. A great moment. This and the end, really.
The campfire speech before the final battle.
Well, no, the turning over of the crown is the one that always gets me.
Oh, are you kidding? That was a total surprise. You said, let's go, we're not going to shoot the crowning scene. What crowning scene?
Yeah.
And we were in tears. Richard Rubenstein was crying off the
Yeah.
set.
If you'll allow me,
See the chin?
defense of the crown. These
Amazing.
will challenge. Shit, I can't talk like that. Morgan's agreed to fight, and if you promise to sit on your ass and stay out of the way, there's still some of us that'll fight for you.
All right. All right.
And there really is almost an Arthurian relationship between Billy and Lynette.
Yeah.
And
Lancelot and Guinevere.
That's the thing. Guinevere. I remember doing these. Amazing. A lot of energy, boy, went into this. It was really ambitious for a bunch of guys out there with $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Try to do that today. Not you. You could probably do it today, but I mean,
You cannot put a price.
Not without.
it would scare people.
Yeah, the problem is nobody was getting paid. Well,
Were
this
we?
was SAG.
Were we SAG? Yeah, because
Yeah,
we were
this
getting
was
minimum
SAG.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Does that mean when the DVD comes out, we'll get some royalties on this?
Well, I don't know. See, I don't know if.
I'm looking at the producer over there.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not his problem.
Ah.
Who is it? It's Sala's problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were signatories. So, you know, I don't, and none of us knew.
Back then, yeah.
I don't know how.
If you want to know the future,
Didn't you get a check for like 17 cents?
Yes.
From
What was that
Creepshow 2 or
from?
something?
Yeah, everybody.
Monkey
talks
Shines, I think. No, The Boy Who Loved Trolls.
Morgan wins.
about piece of the action. You know, that's the invisible net profits that never materialized.
I am not a bookie.
Can I interest you in this screwdriver? Try some knobs.
Well, the whole time that Richard Rubenstein and I were together, I was just getting a salary from Laurel, and I wasn't a member of any of the guilds at that time.
Sorry, no.
And so that was it, you know.
Here's a nice shot.
So you know, it wasn't. But that kept it all down, and it was never more than scale, SAG scale
Yeah.
for the actors.
Yeah.
And
Get ready for you.
I don't know, did we have a caterer on this? We must have. There's so many people. We must have.
Got anybody?
Don't remember.
Sure.
Isn't there a
I
painting?
seem to remember a big picnic tent or you know, gazebo or something where we would go to eat, but I don't remember.
I thought we ate inside the lodge
Oh,
sometimes.
the lodge,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah. But it's funny how you blank on things. I don't even remember if we had. Moon baby. Big day coming up.
What are the boundaries?
No boundaries. Wherever takes you.
I like this scene.
Yeah, I like it a lot too.
Okay. Now this is a tough one. What
So-
constitutes surrender?
Where the council sets the rules.
Yeah.
You gonna surrender? You gonna surrender? Nobody's gonna surrender, and I don't think it's necessary for anybody to get hurt bad. So, any knight separated from his machine is out.
Was this on location or was that warehouse also?
This was outside
Outside, yeah.
on one of the lucky.
One of the lucky nights. When we,
Price.
that's why you can't see anything. The stuff in the
background.
warehouse looks better. We didn't have the lighting firepower.
See, Billy the King turned around one day and
But it's
seen how many of us was looking to him.
we pulled it off though, man. I mean, you know, somehow the films really they hang together. You know, they make sense. They're not.
They think you some little...
Well, again, it's that whole element, you can really feel that everyone put their heart into this.
Yeah.
And that's what, people noticed that.
Yeah, and everyone did. I mean, I thought, you know, despite the adversity and exhaustion and everything, it was a great time.
There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be thrilled this is coming out on DVD.
Yeah, well, I sure am. I mean, I'm thrilled that it's surviving. You know, I mean, that's the greatest thing. This is so many. We did make it into that age of video, you know. But
Lucky fog.
Oh yeah.
lucky fog.
How'd they do that?
Yeah. Well, what happened was that this happened pretty regularly, but then it was a matter of getting up early enough. And
We got up very early for
got
this
up
one.
real early, and we were shooting right at the moment there was f-stop, we started to shoot.
'Cause
Otherwise, so you can see it dissipating already.
Yeah, because we had to travel from the hotel to even get there early in the morning.
Yeah. But you can tell which shots we shot first by how thick the fog is. And then see it gradually dissipating. It's like one of those sequencing puzzles, you know, put it together in order.
That happens a lot in this area. It'll get really foggy, but the minute the sun comes up, it's gone.
Zap, burns off, yeah. See, it's pretty much going away there. But at least we got that, you know, that big opening shot. Well, it was great. I know Nick kept saying, bold, bold.
Yeah, yeah. he used that word a lot. This is bold.
Those helmets with that shield worked pretty nicely. They fit the helmets nicely. And that was a totally original design, right?
Oh yeah, he built all this
built
stuff.
on top of the real helmets that Cletus built. And this was the one sequence where we ran out of music, so you hear the music repeating and repeating and repeating. Donald did this long piece and said, "It's got to be enough." He was doing this before the scene was cut. You know, we had to. It was all such pressure to get the movie finished. So he was up recording the score before the sequences were all cut together. So, you know, no timings, none of this was done to picture. It was all done from memory of the work print and you know, what sequences he had seen. Pretty amazing.
It's not your fault. It's not that. No. Come on, Joe. Jump on it.
Come on, you dumb, stupid ass machine!
I remember sitting on the flatbed cutting this sequence. It was just unbelievably difficult. It took forever.
A lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And it was one where we had the maps and everything, but you know, on the day we either run out of time or we had to like improvise. Or I remember trying to sell those scenes. Where was Mike? Was he on another hack for some of those on the field shot? Where
He was on the hack a lot. I have photos of him on the
shooting from the hack,
looking down and to the holding the camera low. They're dropping like flies.
Oh man, what a time. This took forever to shoot. I forget how many days we spent on this thing. Once we got over the fog stuff. But this was not near the end of the shoot, was it? We did this early on because you know, what happens making a film is you have to schedule around who's on, you know, you try to drop people from payroll as you can.
Yeah.
But I know we were. So I think we had to do this when the whole company was still around, right? It's funny how you just don't remember.
That's right. We got paid for all this fun, didn't we?
Huh?
We got paid for all this fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But
Schmuck.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it in the family.
Well, I'm disarmed again.
Huh?
They keep disarming me.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you keep forgetting your
Can't
basics.
hold- yeah, I got my basics, Morgan.
too excited. Too excited. Look at John jumping around, man. Just was great.
I was saying, isn't there a painting in your basement you've been working on for years of John as
We were just
Whiteface?
talking about that, yeah.
In whiteface. Well, he had such a lovely quality, you know, really sort of ethereal quality.
Yeah. This is Reed Rondell right here.
Boom! Oof! That one, I remember watching that over and over on the flatbed, back and forth, back and forth. It looks like his neck bends the wrong way.
Right.
And Reed is the stuntman who died in a helicopter accident?
Stunt kid, yeah. He was 18 when he died.
Holy cow. So that must have been not too long after this.
Right after this, I hired him for The Burning. He did a fire gag, and it was right after that that he had the helicopter accident.
Wow. Well, I was saying, you know, this was really the first time that I felt that responsibility of, you know, you dream something up and you write a script and
it could hurt
people
somebody.
put their lives on
Yeah.
the line to pull it off. I mean, I can't imagine what John Landis must have felt like after that Twilight Zone incident.
Really.
But first time you would always say, oh, I'll do it. When it was you, I didn't care.
Because Tom always comes through okay. Yeah. Dive off that balcony. All right, sure. I can do that.
So you're not allowed to bleed.
Not allowed to bleed.
Oh, there goes the shield.
Yeah, I remember that, doing that car gag. For some reason,
When it happened, it looked like he really got hurt.
Really got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just stood right up and walked away.
But boy, rubber, body made of rubber.
I asked him about that.
Amazing. Yeah.
You don't. He said you don't prepare for anything like that. You just relax.
Relax.
What happens to you, and what happened to him was a natural thing of hitting a car and relaxing. You know.
Man, I mean, 'cause if you really look at it, I mean, some folks out there that can reverse it or freeze it. I mean, it looks like his head is snapping off. Oh. He's Velcroed to the bike.
That's when Velcro first came out, wasn't it?
Oh, Yunka.
Cable off. Crunch.
Cable off. Remember.
You hear it?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
That's just our bad attempts at Foley. I mean, again, this was still, we didn't go to a Foley stage for this. This is one movie I wish that we could do, keep the music and dialogue tracks, but do a good bike track and something with some balls.
Right here.
Right
watch.
here. The steel cup. Oh.
That's the guy that broke his steel cup, supposedly.
Oof. That was a bad one. That looked tough. You know, there's this one sequence that I wish I could get Donald to do more music for this someday. Maybe someday, if I ever get the spare change and put a really ballsy sound effects track on. We were doing this. This was all homemade in our own little studio, where we had to dub. We could only dub 3 tracks at a time, so you'd dub 3 tracks, and then you'd use that track and dub 2 more on
top of that, yeah.
And it just lost its it lost a lot of the balls.
It's really a pity that the soundtrack to this hasn't been released, because it's.
I know.
And he did make the cassettes for the crew.
Yeah, little audio cassettes, but never could get a release deal on it.
He might be able to do it now. He emailed me because after Martin, he said he might be able to get Knightriders done by
great.
the same studio. Yeah.
So I love the tapes are fabulous. I mean, it's great hearing this stuff because it has a lot of the little trio stuff. Ooh.
Lancelot is down.
Remember you're figuring that one out, right?
Well, really, yeah.
Flying up. And we didn't, did we hang?
You know, I was just going to say, I think that's how we did it. We suspended it to keep them up there, just to get the shot
Just
of
to get the
coming under,
quick
yeah.
shot of it, of the thing coming down. Yeah, and this is the sequence we were talking about, right?
Right.
It's like-
You said we're going to have the crowning sequence. And I says,
Yeah.
what crowning? Because I don't remember it in the script or anything. And then everyone's crying. I'm crying my ass off here, but you had to do it. You had to do their takes first.
Yeah.
So when you came around to me, I was still in it, but not as much as because of the surprise of doing it. Especially when she took off her crown and handed it to me. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew he was going to crown me, but then she took off hers, and
Yeah.
that was where I lost it.
Well, I remember she had a hard time. She needed a lot of time to get into it, right? And so.
She probably said, "Let's do her." Yeah.
But when the cats, this is when they started to play.
Oh, that was it. I looked over. Richard Rubenstein was crying. Everybody around me was crying.
That was an amazing moment. I mean, you guys are just so great in it.
It says a lot. It says a lot between those guys.
Yeah.
No words would have ruined it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah.
Morgan.
Now the camera's not on me, but when she took off her crown, I went, "Oh no, you too," you know.
You know those contracts? Burn them, baby.
Yeah, we were all weeping when the very first time. It's too bad, too bad we didn't have 8 cameras.
Yeah.
But it's there. The emotion is there, and it's real.
Oh,
you
it's
know?
definitely there. I mean, it was. Well, we all were feeling it, I mean.
Was that towards the end of the shoot?
Well, it had to be before the, in sequence, the funeral. I remember the funeral thing as being last. Now that may be just the way I'm remembering it. I don't know if it was last. Well, for us it may have been because you did a lot of stuff with that after that, of course, with the sword and the kid.
Right. I don't know that was necessary. I mean, obviously it's not a sequence, but it's amazing how it goes away. I wish I could see some of the old production schedules or something.
Great reaction.
I have this photo of the 3 of these guys.
See, he knows what he's going to do now, don't you think?
Yeah.
Goodbye.
That says it, yeah.
Donald really got it all too. But I mean, he was there. They were crying. The musicians were crying. It was an amazing time. I mean, all, living together the way we did, and it's just like
that's what it was. It was so personal for us, so personal to be in that state of mind, that mindset with those people.
Yeah.
That crowning thing meant so much more to us.
Right. But it's the world goes away when you're working on something like this
too.
Yeah,
Completely.
So it's totally. So it it had a lot of meaning. It was like the end of the show. You don't want it to end. You don't want it to end. And it's. It was really, really.
It's like your family is breaking up and going their separate ways.
Well, of course, I remember, what do we do now?
Right.
The movie's over?
Wait, you mean it's over?
I'm not going to go and wear the costume anymore and be Morgan. I'm the king now. What do you mean it's over? Where's that's the mask.
Fake,
yes.
Yeah, the fake raven head. That was it.
And here's a nice touch. You see the bird, then the truck.
Yeah.
So again, it's foreshadowing.
The truck.
I love this scene. Just looked at him for a moment, just so he knew.
Oh, people cheered at this moment.
Yeah, I remember that. What's yeah, amazing.
This was not a McDonald's. It was some other chain.
Right. Yeah, I forget what it was. In the salad.
Is that Bomba back there?
There's Bomba. Bunch of old bugs.
Well, it's only $53 so far. Oh, this is going to be it. This is over the $60 mark now.
And worth every penny.
Yeah.
I wonder how she's calculating. That's about 7 milkshakes worth on his head there.
Yeah.
They actually let us come in there and do this, which was surprising.
Those crazy movie people.
Yeah. The gesture that Ed makes is sort of like the end of the abyss.
That's her.
Who?
There's Rev.
Oh, there's the Rev, Moon Mothman.
He is in the movie. This is great.
I remember shooting this scene, and Ed was so concerned about. We had to shoot his stuff before anyone else came, and he had to look in a certain direction, and so we gave him a mark, and we put a coffee cup there. Nat, see, this wasn't happening. And I remember him saying, "Won't it look like? Won't you be able to tell I'm looking at a coffee cup?" I think he meant it. You probably could, if the shot held longer.
Well, after the abyss and all the blue screens, he probably got used to that right away.
Yeah, man. And Muffley.
Or the right stuff.
Yeah, the right stuff.
You know what? I have that sword.
You have this sword. You came away with everything.
And the scabbard and the belt.
Oh. You took it away from the kid. Oh.
I'm sorry. I have the scabbard and the belt, but not the sword. It's my sword from Knight Rider.
You don't have the kid.
I don't have the kid. The kid's in the attic.
Animatronic kid.
He's grown up now, and he wonders why he's there.
I just love the way Ed did that. I love the idea of it too. I remember
passing on this.
Yeah, I didn't know if. But, he makes the speech to the kid earlier, and the follow-through is great.
Moon Baby's Knightriders 2 has that kid grown up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Were you there when Moon Baby was talking about?
He was talking about it. I'd love to read that.
Well, if Knightriders had made any bread, maybe somebody would go for it. These close-ups coming up of Ed are the shots where he pounded the bike, where he just slugged the motorcycle and got it.
Were you here when George was talking about Ed pounding on the bike? When
Yeah. In fact, I told you that up in the attic, remember? You found the red cowling to the bike.
What that dent is, yeah, we're talking about. Watch for eBay on the...
Yeah.
But,
blood on the arm.
Yeah. I remember the, you know, doing it on a rig. I can see, I don't know, that it's high. It's higher off the ground, you know, than a bike would be. It's always disappointing that we didn't have a shop maker or something that we could, you know. Do you never notice it?
No, I never noticed it. But what's great is the insight into his attitude.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Now, see, that's what he was going for.
Well, the music falls away, and then there's just the sound of the bike.
Yeah.
And
And this moment is what he was going for, and he just felt that he was never getting that release into it. And he would just get, you know, pissed with himself.
Well, an artist is never satisfied. There,
No,
that.
no.
Look at that. That's him.
Yeah.
That's the horse Caparison that Tasso bought from Barbara afterwards and used it for many years in the joust show.
In a real joust show. And we had to dig a hole in the
highway.
In the highway. And that was the rev back there on that bike. That was not Albert.
Wow.
'Cause I think Albert was off the chute then. Or maybe hadn't even started work yet. So that was the rev on that bike. And this is beautiful stuff. Mike softened that up. And this song was recorded right here. This track is not overlaid. I mean, this was recorded here. And there's a bird that comes in just.
To the hills as a child I'll go, but I'd rather...
And then Donald went into the studio and recorded the overlay, the string overlay on it.
Towards the end of the piece.
Yeah. See, and I remember that. I think we had some of it in rain, and then we had to
get the fire department to come out.
Deep inside, I can feel her dance, going run to me, lover, touch mine.
That was Albert's idea.
It's rich. It's rich with stuff like that. Jesus.
I see that life is an old...
Only a Native American would have
thought of
that, yeah.
No, at first pains me so. I think I'm just learning how to let go. Pity there's just emptiness, but with sorrow there comes joy. And I would rather die in a hurricane than to never know the storm.
Those strings, and I love it when. And this was Blue's thing, the butterfly on the hand. That was Blue's idea. You guys really. That was great, Tom. Oh, man. Take me back to them days. It was just... Well, it was so... I mean, it was so great doing it, and it's great seeing it again, and I'm...
And the bird's still with us.
Yeah. That was great. Great job, everyone, and thanks all of you out there that are watching this and appreciating it. We were all disappointed when it didn't do more in theaters, but it's still around. That's the main thing.
It does it for us.
Yeah, it does it for us.
It did it today again. This is my favorite movie for so long.
Yeah.